Let's go.
Let's rock.
Jimmy Juice Podcast, man.
Let's go.
Figgy Fig, best in the world at what he do, know what I'm talking about. Ryan Rockett, born and raised in the H-Town, Houston, Texas. Know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Let's go in the jacuzzi, smoking threats. I got my feet up. Cut them haters off, I told them beat it. I don't need you. Spent 50 racks in cash, but it's all good. I got my visa. This rolling got them staring at me like the Mona Lisa. My ghetto, Nikeisha. I beat it like a creature. She always like my sneakers. These Jordan 5 pink aces. Let's go. I'm knocking them down, baby, back in the row. He really the one, but they already know. Put on all of my chains, go put on the show.
Giving up gems, sipping my juice. Counting the beans, addicted to ends. I need to back in on whatever I do. We get it in on the daily. I get it rocking like this with the 80. We really 10-toe down on the pave. What's up? We about to see what they saying.
Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Let's go. Gems, vippin' juice. Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Rockin' gems, vippin' juice. Go, let's go.
What do you have to say to everyone who still considers the Astros cheaters?
Oh, yeah.
You sliding around playing Eminem in your car, you and your old lady? You sliding around playing Eminem in your car, you and your old lady?
Very, very fitting for that drop this week because I think we have a special guest, and I think he is somebody who actually does slide around listening to Eminem with his old lady. But welcome back. We got a lot to talk about this week, a lot going on. I have a special guest. I have a very special guest, I would say he is a legend in training, a H-Town radio legend in training, man. He's been grinding hard in radio for a minute now. He is, of course, the host of In the Loop, or Legend in the Making is better. Legend in Training sounds like he's 15 years old. But Legend in the Making in H-Town radio. He is the host of In the Loop on Sportsradio 610 with John Lopez and, of course, Figgy Fig, our very own Figgy Fig, producer of the year, by the way. Got to get that in there. He is also the host of the Landry Locker. I think it's the Locker Room podcast. That's right, on YouTube as well.
Number one podcast, or the number one YouTube channel in Houston. When it comes to Houston Texans, yeah.
I feel you. Yeah, I thought you meant like statistically, but okay. Yeah. I feel you. Yeah,
it might be statistically. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very controversial as well, apparently.
I know that part.
According to some of the people who come in our podcast. But yeah, it's a very talented radio host. Also a hater, but I appreciate a good hater, man. See, people don't understand the art of hating. I think Landry understands the art of being a hater. And I appreciate that about him. So yes, finally on the Jim the Juice podcast to talk about the new movie White Men Can't Jump, the remake. We have our very own white man join the show this week. Landry Locker joins the podcast finally.
Finally.
Yes.
Bumping Eminem. You're crazy as hell. I don't think I've bumped Eminem in probably 19 years, I would say.
What?
Eminem. Yeah. Just happened, man. What's there been to bump? Maybe a little bit after that, but it's been at least a decade and a half since bumping Eminem. The problem with Eminem and Dr. Dre is that, and my theory on why Dr. Dre never dropped that article or that column, or not column.
Talking about detox
is because they'd get canceled in a matter of seconds. Like they're not like you would go back in time. Every women's group would be after Dr. Dre. That's why he has to lay low and sell all his stuff. And Eminem, if you go back and play some of his old stuff, man, he's going to be canceled like that. You go back and listen to some of that stuff.
Okay, Detox had been in the works for like 20 plus years before this cancel culture stuff even existed.
He never dropped
it.
He never dropped
because he wasn't satisfied with how it sounded. Okay. Because Dr. Dre is somebody who feels like he has to top himself every time he drops.
20 years.
He, in his mind, he couldn't drop anything that sounded as good or better than 2001. I think he's talked about this, which I understand, but also, you know, it's kind of you could argue that it's kind of quitting. But see,
he can't drop nothing now, though. You know that he wouldn't since 2011. As soon as 2011 hit, he could have had a masterpiece. He can't drop a damn thing.
That's
his
true.
Ass would be canceled. His ass would be canceled. Eminem would be canceled. That's why Eminem walks around scared and he only says that.
Eminem still drops and Eminem still goes platinum, man. Eminem still sells a lot of records.
He went platinum? When's the last time he went platinum?
I'm sure his last album went platinum. We could check the sales numbers, but Eminem gets a lot of support from his fans still, from white people who are not afraid to still be fans of Eminem, unlike you, Mister. I haven't listened to him in 19 years, even though I dyed my hair blonde just like he did way back in the day.
That wasn't his thing. That was a white boy suburb.
That was Eminem, man. Stop it.
White boy suburb thing.
That was Eminem, dog. Stop it. You know you was bumping that Marshall Mathers LP hard.
I was doing that. I can't.
I was too, man.
I can't speak for before that.
You always sliding around with our old lady listening to Eminem during that time.
For sure. With the remember when you had like the square CD changer where you could put like 5 and you could like change it a little bit. You remember those?
Yes.
Yeah.
The square, and you had to but it was kind of a pain in the ass because you had to stop the car, or you reach back like dangerously grabbing it. You got to unplug and then put it in there.
No, some of them was in the trunk. You actually had to go out. You had to get out the car, go in the trunk to change the CD. If you driving and you be like, "Dang, I ain't even got that CD in there." You just gotta roll with what was in the disc changer.
Do kids get systems anymore? Like, are kids putting 12s and 10s back, or are the cars just so nice that you don't need them now?
Factory is good enough now. Nobody gets sound systems no more.
Be honest, man. I thought about getting some if I had another car, but it's too damn dangerous, man. People be breaking. That's a good reason to break into your car. I got my car broken into having some 12s in my shit.
You get 10 or 12.
They took everything, man.
Man, that used to be what was up.
Yeah, one time I got pulled over. I was in the store, and my homeboy was in the car, and we was bumping the music. I came out there, man. They had him on the hood of the car, pretty much, because he ain't touched my radio. And if he would have opened the trunk, they would have took the nightstick and just killed the speakers. And he knew they was gonna do that, so he was just like, "Man, this ain't my car." And they got an attitude with him, and they actually took him to jail.
Damn.
So since that point, man, I'm like, you know what? Let me take this shit out, man. This shit is dangerous.
Man, getting CDs though, like albums, you talk about like that old era. That used to be so. I mean, it used to be so fun, man. It really used to be like it used to be a thrill. Even you go back to like the Houston days, like when you would have to go to like a specific spot to get like the Swisher House stuff that would drop and stuff. Cause that's how I first got introduced to it. Was I worked at a CD factory like one summer, and I saw like Get Your Mind Correct. Like they would put out all kinds of like local rappers CDs. And then there was Get Your Mind Correct. They had the blue and the red. And this was when like you couldn't go online and see who these dudes were. Like the source would put an article out, and then you would say, oh, okay, that's who that was on the radio. But if you heard something on the radio and you wanted to find out what it was, you had to call them fools up. And sometimes they wouldn't answer, and you'd have to say, hey, what was that song that y'all played at this time? But that's how I discovered like that whole era of stuff. And then you had to go to like a specific store. It was Six Flags Mall in Arlington, and then it was Eargasm, which was like in like the Irving area. Chameleonaire shouted it out in like Mixtape Messiah. Like, that's James at Eargasm. He'll tell you I'm no lie. Like you used to have to go commit to get a CD though. Like you hadn't heard that album or anything, and it was a commitment to get that CD and play it through. The kids don't know that now, man. It sucks.
I mean,
Or it might be better.
It's better and worse. I mean, yeah, streaming is much more convenient. It's much more convenient. Like, I just got back from the gym. I'm glad I didn't have to take a fucking Walkman to the gym or some CD player that skips when you fucking move around too much.
Yeah.
You know? So having it on my phone, which I already have, and just hitting Spotify and having a whole workout playlist is way better than the old way. But at the same time, music releases were way more special back in the physical era. You know, every Tuesday something new drops. You go to the store, you pick it up, you look through the booklet and shit. You're looking at all the album art and all that, and that we've lost that. But it's better and worse in some ways.
Yeah, what's crazy is I was talking to somebody today about how like the mom and pop stores, not the FYE or Best Buy, but the mom and pop CD stores, how the CDs used to be super expensive. It used to be about $20 for a CD. Yeah. But the good thing is some of the artists would go by that CD store and just sign CDs and post.
Oh yeah.
So it'd be a nice little line out there. And it's just like, oh, Lil Flip in Cleveland. He at the CD store. He had Nick CD shop. And I'm like, damn, don't nobody even do that now. Like, ain't no point. I mean, it ain't no CD stores or nothing, but that was a thrill trying to go up there, knowing your favorite artist was up there signing autographs or signing his own CD.
Yeah, I went to like a Slim Thug back in the day when he dropped Already Platinum or whatever. And like that was a big deal. The other thing I wonder, like, who do you think that, like, Get Your Mind Correct, because who knows how many albums they actually sold, but they were going like city to city, like Paul Wall and Chameleon back in the day. Like I was talking to someone about this the other day. Like, would they have benefited from the SoundCloud era? Because I think there's a certain element of kind of hustle that comes with it. Like the music would have got out more, but the reason why that album hit so hard for me is you have two guys that are two of the best to come from Houston that are like just different styles and they're like putting it together. But there was also just an element of hustle where like they're pulling up to Abilene, they're pulling up to Lubbock. It seems like they're going to Dallas every other weekend, because I know it's a Houston thing, but they got love in cities and there was no divisiveness like in Dallas. Like with Houston, like you had some people like the north-south stuff where they were kind of hating on them and stuff like that. But like when they went to Dallas or they went to Abilene or they went to Fort Worth or they went anywhere, they were getting just all types of love. And there was a certain element of hustle of trying to get your shit out there. So I've always wondered, like, would those guys have been bigger, or did they just kind of develop like some natural grit because they had to get the word out there and kind of spread it out?
I think they would have been bigger nationwide with SoundCloud in the streaming era, but they would have made less money in that independent era. Because look, we all know these artists don't get really paid anything off streams, but streaming and getting that play can make you a star nationwide. Like, for example, in Florida recently, or fairly recently, you had all those kids come out like XXXTentacion and Lil Pump and all those rappers. Like, they were SoundCloud rappers, man. They started straight up on SoundCloud. Their stuff got passed around. Everybody started talking about them.
Which used to be an insult, and now it's like, thank you.
Pretty much. But so that you have those kids who, you know, wouldn't have been known outside of Florida in the past, but now they had a nationwide following and then they got a major label behind them. But Chameleon and Paul Wall probably would have been bigger nationwide in the SoundCloud era, but they wouldn't have made enough money because, you know, they're not selling CDs. They're not getting $10 to $13 a album, which is not costing that much to manufacture. And yeah, so they would have probably made less money overall, but they would have been bigger and probably got a major deal sooner. So
they hustled so hard, man. Like they really did. They just hustled their asses off, all of them.
Yeah, it's a lost art. But Landry, we got to get into the shits now, man. We got to get into the shits. We got to bring you in for what we talked about, or what we're going to talk about. Now, you are a sports movie aficionado, we all know. And by the way, if y'all got Plex with Landry, I'm going to bring that back. Does anybody say Plex anymore? I'm going to bring it back. If anybody got Plex with Landry, because y'all always be coming into our podcast, talk about some shit Landry said on the show. And we don't have him here to defend himself. So if y'all got an issue with whatever Landry said this week, come
Oh,
through and
God.
we'll put his feet to the fire. Okay.
My guest today will be probably DeAndre Hopkins. How he don't want to be. He don't think it's a good fit. That's my wild guess.
We'll talk about that later. But we if anybody got smoke with Landry, bring it through. We will hold his feet to the fire. Okay. Since y'all keep bugging us about some shit he said and we don't even know what he said half the time. So first off, Landry, quick wellness check, man. How you been? I know you got some major lifestyle changes coming up. You're going into a man. You got all this personal stuff going on, man. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. So I got a walkthrough tomorrow at the new crib, and then I think we close next week, and then got the baby coming in August. Perfect timing because it's before football season. It's kind of like right between camp and the season, so that's good. Didn't plan it that way, just kind of worked out that way, and just chilling, man. Enjoying life, enjoying the vibes with the Texans, enjoying working with Figgy every day. So very good, man. Very blessed.
Okay. Well, good to hear, man. So let's get into the shits, man. We gotta talk about the new White Men Can't Jump, the remake, of course, of the 1992 classic starring Wesley Snipes and Woody Harrelson and Rosie Perez as well. They remade it. And now, if you listen to last week's podcast, me and Figgy said we would hate watch it. We said we'd go ahead and watch this shit. And we did. And this one is different. I will say that much. The cast, of course, is, let me look up. I know Jack Harlow is starring. He is starring alongside Cinqua Walls. I'm probably pronouncing his name wrong, but also Lance Reddick makes an appearance. Tiana Taylor plays Kamal's the black man, the Wesley Snipes character. I will say that much, I guess. He plays Tiana Taylor plays his wife. Vince Staples makes an appearance as well. A bunch of cameos, a lot of cameos, honestly. Andrew Schultz is in it for some reason. The guy from Black Jesus, the TV show, is in it for a minute. I don't know. So a lot of celebrity cameos. And yeah, so we gonna start with you, Figgy, since this ain't in the loop, okay? Figgy talks first here, okay? I want to know what you thought about this 2023 remake of White Men Can't Jump.
So, look, I was going into this very biased. I'm thinking, like, how they gonna remake this, man? Like, I just don't understand. I feel like it don't need to be remade, first of all. But I went in watching it. It was a totally different storyline, like totally different. And I was into it, man. And I think one of the best ways to see if the movie is enjoyable is having my wife on the side, because usually she'll check out if the movie ain't good. And all throughout the movie, it was a giggle here, giggle there, and we was actually into it. So I thought, look, man, I was really surprised at Jack Harlow. He seemed like he kind of remind me, and I know Machine Gun Kelly said this, but he kind of remind me of a white Drake. That's kind of this monotone type of dude, this dry humor type of guy. Really didn't have that much energy, but he was funny. And I was really surprised at that. So the overall movie, I thought it was a good movie. But the only problem I have with it is, why is it called White Men Can't Jump? This could have been any name, and we talked about this last week. I'm like, man, they could have named it Basketball and Friends or something. Anything. It could have been named anything, and we would have been like, damn, this is a good movie. So that's the only reason I felt like they kind of messed up with this movie, because I felt like they used the classic title and there's nothing compared to the classic, because it's not like it's 3 or 4 White Men Can't Jump. It was only one, because like I understand it with House Party, because when they made another House Party, of course they ain't gonna have the same cast from 30 years ago. But this was only one movie, and they completely changed it. That's the only thing that's one of the reasons I didn't understand it. Now, my cringe moment in this movie was the legendary part out of all the scenes in the original one, they remade the one in the park where the dude went to go get his gun. Who was it? Marcus Johnson? I forgot who it was.
Raymond and White Man Can't Jump.
Yeah. Like out of all the scenes, they remade that one. And the dude went and got to go. Dude said, instead of I'm gonna go to the car, get my other gun and shoot everybody ass. The dude said, I'm about to go get my flamethrower. So he went to the car, actually got a flamethrower. And I'm just like, what the I'm like, what the hell is this? So
it was like the fakest looking flamethrower too.
Yes,
like
man.
they didn't even try to make it look
anime.
real.
I thought I was watching an anime movie at that point. I'm like, man, but outside of that part, I felt like it was fine. It was very 2023-ish. So the only part I would say about it, like comparing the two, I know we can't really compare the two like that. They two different movies. But the one thing I like about the first one or the original one is you actually felt the pain. Like this dude was gambling all of his shit away, and he actually lost his girl. Like it was really tough. And in the new one, I felt like he was never gonna lose his girl, even though the girl went away or something. But I just knew at the end it was gonna be a fairy tale ending where he gonna get the girl back, they're gonna get married, and everything is just fine. So that's the only part I kind of was like, this is a little cliche. But overall, I felt like they really did a good job. I just wish they didn't name it White Man Can't Jump. It could have been something totally different. And also, I just want to throw this out there too. I feel like this is a little conspiracy or a little theory. I feel like this is part of the Jack Harlow rollout too, because this seemed like it had Jack Harlow written all over it. Like, hey, let's make you a movie because you one of the hottest artists out there right now. You just dropped the project a week or two ago. So hey, this would be perfect for your rollout. So I'm kind of curious if that played a part in it too.
Yeah. I think there might be some truth to that. Now, Landry, I know you were a big fan of the 1992 movie. You were very upset that they were even remaking it. But now that you've seen it, what were your thoughts of this new White Men Can't Jump?
Thought it was really good, and I think it's the biggest upset of the year in sports.
Really? Wow.
In March Madness, I thought it was very good, and I was very, very surprised. And if I'll take it to the level that if I would have gone to the movie theater and seen it and paid to see it, I would have been pleased. I thought they did. I thought it was a good movie. I thought the back and forth, the trash talk was on par. I thought it was on point. I thought there were some good one-liners. I actually think there was pretty good depth about the relationship that guys have with basketball, whether it be holding on too long or letting go too early. I thought it did a good job kind of showing like the bond with the dad and stuff like that. I thought it was a good movie. And I don't know if it's just because there's so many shitty movies that have been dropped, and maybe I'm comparing it to, the remake of House Party. So maybe it's just kind of, in bad company, but I thought it was really good. I was pleasantly surprised by the movie. So I was going in with not really an open mind, and I'm with you, Figgy. I watched it with wifey, and she was laughing too. So that was kind of the test. So I enjoyed it. I didn't expect a ton, and it surpassed my expectations. I'm sensing Rockett hated it. I'm sensing Rockett hated it.
Look
at your face when I said it was good. Look at you.
You said it was really good.
I thought it was really good.
That's what shocked me.
I mean, how many times did you laugh? Like, there were some really funny lines.
Like, maybe I chuckled maybe twice.
Here's the other thing. I
honestly forgot it was a comedy.
But here's the other thing about me. I'm kind of a sports nerd. So, like, the little references, like when you mention, for me, like when you mention like tractor trailer and you're mentioning like Michael Sweetney and you're talking about, Luka, everybody admitting Luka's the best player would improve race relations, like those type of jokes and stuff like that. It goes a long way with me. I thought the actual like basketball references were on point. The Harden joke, all that type of stuff. That probably frustrated you too. You probably hated that.
No, look, Okay, here I'm gonna start here. I'm gonna start here because before I watched this movie, I rewatched the original White Man
Oh,
Can't
come
Jump.
on, that's unfair. How are you gonna
No,
do that?
I at first I
Come on,
wasn't.
man.
At first I wasn't. I was like I was gonna judge this movie on its own merits, but then I realized it's a fucking remake. So it's supposed to be compared to the
Was it
original.
really though? It was. I
Yes.
felt like they just did it out of respect.
It was a remake, man. So I watched just for reference. And look, to be honest, I don't think the original White Man Can't Jump has really aged that well. There's a lot of cringe moments in that movie too. Some of the dialogue is like
is trash, man. And when you rewatch that,
it was better than this. But it was there. Some of the dialogue was just kind of cringe. Some of the jokes were very 1992-ish, like your mama jokes and shit.
your mama's an astronaut.
Yeah, shit like that. It got very it didn't age all that well. But I think the original story and the plot and the characters and the performances were great.
Rosie was incredible. Rosie was incredible.
Everybody was, man. And I forgot, honestly, you forget how good of an actor Wesley Snipes is until you see one of his movies. He was great in White Man Can't Jump.
Because they're so spread out. He's done like 6 movies in his life.
Yes, because he got I think he got didn't he go to jail for tax evasion?
Yeah.
And then he was really never the same since. But I thought he was the best part in Coming to America 2, which was an awful movie. But he was even good in that. So very good actor Wesley Snipes. In comparison, the brother who played his role, I guess it was supposed to be Cinqua. I'm sorry, man. He didn't do it. This guy had no charisma at all. He kind of mumbled and fumbled through all of his lines, and it was rough, man. I couldn't tell if he was supposed to be Wesley Snipes in this movie or just somebody else completely, because I kind of felt like Jack Harlow was Woody Harrelson and Wesley Snipes put in one in this movie.
Yes.
You know, and the other dude, Kamal, it was just like, I guess, kind of like Woody Harrelson in the beginning, just like a naive guy who just wants to ball. But then it's just like he did not have the charisma of a Wesley Snipes, and it just didn't work, man. So Jack Harlow naturally was the best actor in the movie, basically.
Boy, that's a problem. That's a problem.
Yeah, I know. Because So and giving and saying that Jack Harlow was great in this movie is kind of like saying DMX was great for playing an angry ex-con in a movie. You know, Jack Harlow played an obnoxious white guy. I don't feel like he had to reach all that hard to be that. Okay, I think he was just kind of. I think the stuff
they
he
were
was saying
making
is
fun of
stuff he
token
naturally
white tendencies.
says.
You didn't think that was funny? The way that Jack Harlow was doing like all
that's
the
another issue I had with the movie, man.
That was awesome.
The constant back and forth about white people do this and black people do that. Okay, now that was in the original movie, but it wasn't every fucking line of dialogue, man. Like they really kind of overdid it in this movie. You would have thought that Jim Crow was like 2 years ago, the way they talked in this movie about black people and white people. And it's like, it was a little too much. The dialogue, like Figgy said, was very 2023. I think at one point somebody called Jack Harlow a gentrifier. Shit, like the trash talk was ass, man. The trash talk was
trash
terrible.
talk was nice.
The trash talk was terrible, man. The trash talk was very unbelievable and kind of took me out the movie. It was bad on that. The movie itself looked like it was filmed with an iPhone. It looked very cheap. So when you say you would have paid to see this and would have been satisfied, I was shocked because it just looked like a made for Hulu
What do you
movie.
got, the iPhone 36?
The movie did not look, man. Like I said, look at a regular made for movies movie and look at this movie and tell me this shit don't look cheap, man. Half of the movie is filmed in the fucking gym, dog. Like, they really didn't. The budget didn't look too good for this movie outside of all the celebrities they had to pay. So the plot was fucking stupid too, man. I like, look, the dude with 2 blown ACLs wants to make the NBA still.
That's realistic though, bro. Like there's a lot of people like that. Like
With
that
2
there's a lot
torn
of
ACLs want to make the G League in league.
dude, you go to a local rec center. There's always someone like that holding on
Okay,
to
fair.
those sort of
I'll
things.
concede that point then, even though I thought it was ridiculous. The betting in this movie.
The most racist thing in this movie, by the way, of all the race things, and the thing that you're talking about, the Jim Crow and stuff, why did they have to make him go to Gonzaga, man? Why couldn't he have gone somewhere else? They make the white guy go to Gonzaga. He couldn't have gone to any other school. He had to go to Gonzaga. Come on, man.
Look, it had to be a white people school because they had to really make the difference.
Hey, he kind of looked like he could go to Gonzaga, to be honest, with the curly hair. There's always a motherfucker from Gonzaga that look just like him.
You know what I imagine annoys you the most? And I could be wrong about this. The 2 friends in their dialogue just seems like that would be a permanent eye roll for you.
Vince Staples was good, but the lines he had to deliver were very corny. And again, not how black people really talk. Like, and that was my issue with the movie.
Vince wouldn't have said that in real life. It seemed like he was really reading from a line.
Black people really don't talk the way black people talked in this movie, man. And that's really one of my issues with it. Like, I feel like even in the original, even though some of the dialogue is corny, it felt natural for the most part. In this movie felt like watching a pretty good Hallmark movie. You know, honestly, it was like a Hallmark movie. You know, you ever have your girl sit down, like, I'm watching this movie, so you sit down with her. It looks corny as shit, but you actually get into it a little bit. It's like, well, actually wasn't that bad. That's how I feel about this new White Man Can't Jump.
So what do you give it, 1 to 10?
Like a 6.
Okay. You're talking like it's a 2. 6.
No, I'm just talking about the things I didn't like. The plot, the general plot, like you said, the things about not letting go, the things with the dad. Lance Reddick was great, by the way. He was great in this movie. He's great in every movie. R.I.P. Lance Reddick. But the general plot itself was not bad. But just you're remaking a classic, and it was just like Figgy said, why even name it White Man Can't Jump? You know why? Because they want to play off the clout. They want to get the clout of people who love the movie.
Trying to get us.
But you're making a much worse version of that movie. And that's what I don't like. So much shit was unreal. Like people who aren't even around street ball wrote this movie. The amounts that were being bet was ridiculous. $300 in the beginning. I'll rewatch the first one. I think the first bet was like for $60, which is realistic. Like, I feel like the original White Man Can't Jump was some shit that could have really happened in real life.
I felt the pain in that, even though I'm not a better, but I felt the pain in that where you just
they weren't playing a contest for $500,000 in some random neighborhood, dog. Like, it was very low stakes, you know, $1,700 bet, like shit like that. It was realistic. They're talking about playing for $25K, playing for $500K, and they get after one day of basketball, they get $500,000. This movie is fucking like Disney Channel shit, man. Like I said, it was watchable. Look, you can watch it with your girl, and she will like it because there's plenty of nice little girl power moments. You know, there's plenty of that.
That's probably something else you ain't like.
Look, I understand movies are just like this now, okay? Especially comedies. You're not going to have like a Rosie Perez, somebody who looks stupid sometimes and then looks smart in other times. It's going to be the woman is always right now. That's just how movies are now. You got to accept it.
And that's another thing. Tiana Taylor character, she ain't about to give up all of her shop money so you can play the basketball league.
No, that was loyalty right there. That was a love scene. No, that was nice, man. She basically showed that she believed in him because he didn't believe in himself. That's depth right there.
That's
ride and die right there. That's believing in your man.
That was a lot of money for a basketball game, man. That was a lot.
And that was kind of a flip of the original when Woody Harrelson gambled the money that she gave him to get his life together. Which another thing I don't like that was taken out of this movie. if you really think about it, the original White Men Can't Jump is really about degenerate gambling, more so than just basketball. But you can't have an anti-gambling movie in the DraftKings and FanDuel era of fucking sponsorships we're in now. So they couldn't even touch that. So there's really no gambling message here. That was completely removed from the fucking from the movie, period. It is really not about gambling or hustling or anything like that. It's about believing in yourself and mental health. Which, by the way, I don't
go
think
ahead.
we talk enough about mental health. Okay, it's taboo. We don't talk enough about mental health here. So, like I said, these are just my issues with the movie. I thought it was watchable, but you said it was really good, and you would have been happy if you paid for it in the theater. And that's where I draw the line.
I thought it was good.
It was average at best.
I've seen worse. I've seen much worse. I enjoyed it. The other thing, the one thing, I don't know if this is like my ADD or what, but did it kind of seem like the dad story took a while to completely understand what was going on, like with his relationship with his dad at the beginning? Because I found myself watching like 25 minutes in and being like, wait, what did the dad have to do with it? And then all of a sudden you see him in a wheelchair and you're like, oh, okay, that's his mental block is because of his dad or something. Or did I just miss that? It didn't seem like it developed. It just seemed like it kind of just was out there. Because the first scene was him with his pops.
Yeah.
It seemed like, to me, to be honest, it seemed like they might have had a real bad falling out. Because I thought it was a thing where he haven't talked to him in years. Because he mentioned a couple things like, don't tell my dad, and my dad coming to the port, all of that stuff. So I'm thinking maybe they fell out over something. But I don't know what it was, man. I don't know. They made it seem like they just fell out once he didn't go to college or whatever the case was. And I don't know. They just kind of went past that a little bit.
That kind of threw me for a loop because I thought originally that the story was going to be his dad pushed him too hard. Like his dad, I felt like they were going to make his dad like a LeVar Ball type. I'm actually happy they didn't. I'm actually happy they made him like a good father who believed in his son. Because I mean, that's kind of rare. So I was happy for that, but it was kind of confusing to follow. Part of me wonders if Lance got to film all of his parts before he passed. I don't know. But I'm guessing that his dad got sick and he tried to hide it. And that made the kid's issues worse because he got really, I guess, upset by that. So, but yeah, it was kind of hard to follow. Like I said, I thought they were going to go for a whole obsessive dad just wants nothing but the kids and make the league. And I'm glad that they had the dad be like a cool guy who was just proud of his son. I like that. Like I said, like a good Hallmark movie, you know? It makes you feel good.
This guy.
But yeah, like I said, it was very fantastical. And I felt the original movie was just some shit that actually could have happened in real life for the most, except for Rosie Perez getting on Jeopardy and beating the rocket scientist. That was ridiculous.
And him hitting the shot to get her on there. That might have been more unrealistic.
Yeah, the hook shot from the half court. Yeah. That was crazy. But everything else felt like some shit that could have actually happened in real life in the original movie. And this one felt like I said, it was Disney Channel shit, man. It was everything just happened to come together in the end, and everybody lived happily ever after. Even the kid made it to the Lakers. The guy
got a 10-day, man.
The main character went to the Lakers, man. So hey, and he got a feature on ESPN while being a G League player.
Good story. Did you not see that golf weasel that got that story last week? Come on.
Yeah, fair enough. But he didn't get interviewed by Taylor Rooks. So yeah. But so yeah, the movie was just like I said. I can't go as far as you.
You're gonna watch the original before though, bro.
Because you have to, man. It's a remake, and they even remade certain scenes, man. So you had to remind yourself what the original context was to compare it. Look, they didn't have to name the shit White Men Can't Jump. They could have named it Basketball and Friends, like Figgy said. They wanted to play off the clout of the original movie. So I think it's fair to watch the original movie before you watch this one. But yeah. Look, if anybody else watched the movie, let us know what y'all think. I would say we all kind of recommend it. It's a cool way to spend a Sunday afternoon if there's no sports on or anything to do. it's a cool waste of like an hour and a half. You know,
It's funny.
but
I did watch it on a Sunday afternoon.
see, I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, so I ain't got Hulu, but I pulled it up on the Fire Stick, and we chilled and we was actually into it. So, but I just walked away like, why is it named White Men Can't Jump? Like I really didn't understand that, man. They ain't even had to do that.
Yeah, I mean,
and also, I guess the other part of me was hoping we get some type of cameo from some of the original people.
Yeah,
I knew we would have heard if they was in it. If Wesley Snipes would have made an appearance, I'm sure we would have knew about it before. But I was in the back of my mind, I was hoping we get a Rosie Perez or something like that. But we ain't getting none of that.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe it was better for them not to be associated with it. Maybe I think they got better things going on in their career. Maybe not Wesley Snipes, but everybody else does.
What's Woody doing?
Woody is still doing movies, I think.
Okay.
But it would be very weird to see an old ass Woody Harrelson on the basketball court, man. I don't know. It would make me feel old too. So maybe it's better they didn't do it.
I didn't want to see him hooping, but if it was a thing where he was just out there, a judge or something, just kind of make a little appearance, I would be like, okay, I would have been fine with that. But
yeah,
I get it.
Yeah, and the concept, man, I'll end with this. Like we talked about this when we first heard the movie was coming out. It's like the context of White Men Can't Jump when it released made it way bigger of a movie just because like the racial dynamics back then, man, it very much did feel like black versus white in 1992, dog. Let's be real. You had the Rodney King trial going on around that time. We were fresh off the Bird and Magic rivalry, which was very racial. And a lot of the stereotypes about white ball players were talked about in that movie. And they existed, And now look where we're at. We are not in that era. Some of the best players in the NBA, arguably the best player in the NBA right now is a white Euro guy. So like the context doesn't even make sense to bring it. And they even addressed it in the movie when Jack Harlow dunks and they're like, oh, y'all thought white people couldn't dunk, So the movie itself in the original context just cannot be brought to 2023 because I'm not going to say race relations are perfect now, but it's not like it was in 1992, which it was very hot, on the basketball court when there was a white guy that came through. And now it's not the same thing anymore. So now that's just my thoughts on it, man.
I'm surprised it got a 6, man.
That's all I'm saying. Like I said, the general plot itself was watchable. It was a watchable movie, but just it was a watchable ass, if I could say that much.
I will say this: I haven't seen the new what's the new House Party?
Don't
round one.
Don't.
I ain't even want to waste my time with that.
I knew that must have been bad because nobody even talked about it.
Mm-mm.
Like I keep forgetting it even came out until when you bring it up. I keep forgetting it even came out.
Here's what I want you to do, Rocket, and then I want you to do this review. I'm gonna give Rocket homework. I want you to watch the House Party remake and then watch the White Man Can't Jump remake. And see how much different you think about it too.
I feel look
instead of I watch the original White Man Can't Jump, watch the House Party remake and then watch this remake because that's where I was at, and that's so it's the same type of quality as the LeBron movie. So that's where I was at too. Like so, I was comparing it to that more so than the original because I didn't have the expectations of the original. But if you see how much LeBron missed on that, and you watch this, you'll be like, man. Pretty good plot.
Look, yeah. I don't think this movie was the worst movie ever. I've seen plenty worse movies than the new White Men Can't Jump. Let me make that clear. I'm not going to watch a way worse movie just so I feel better about it. I understand where you're coming from. I think here's the thing, Landry. Your expectations were so low that you were surprised it was watchable.
Disgusted.
You were surprised it was watchable. So, and what's up? We see the comments. What up, Miguel? Miguel ain't got no smoke this week. What's going on, man? Sally is friendly up in here. Best of both worlds. Locker room and gyms and juice. Nah, man. Every week you want to tell us some shit Landry said on the podcast. Bring the same energy, man.
Oh,
don't be on some nice guy shit now, dog.
Hey, y'all censored him, man. What do you mean? Don't blame him for that. Y'all censored him when old girl was on here.
We were trying to be nice to our guests.
Y'all censored him, man. So why don't I get that same treatment? You're talking about empowering women. Look at you. You're doing what you said white men can't jump can't do. I get the smoke and the girl gets Miguel censored.
First of all, we didn't censor him. We actually just took the comments off, so she could because every time somebody comments, she'll stop what she's doing and look.
And then she gave y'all permission to go to topics. All right, we can talk about something else. It's like,
look, I can say
you don't need to say anything now. You back down. I was disappointed in you. Charlemagne is rolling over in his grave because of what Ryan Rockett didn't go at her for that.
I'm glad you brought this up, man. Look, she was a guest on his show. I was not going to bully her. Okay, I agree.
I bully you.
I have thick skin, man. Okay, and look, to be on some real shit. Like before we started recording, she mentioned that she was going through some things. Okay, so I'm not going to bully somebody who might have some like who might be going through some shit and might not be all the way there mentally at that moment. Like we're not one of those podcasts who are just trying to make women look stupid, man. Okay. A lot of times they do that themselves. I will let them do that themselves.
I was going to say y'all didn't really have to.
And that's part of the plan. I will talk a woman into being a hypocrite, but I'm not going to point at her and say you're stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fair.
So
that's fair.
I was in, and again, she was our guest. And I just
thought you were being nice, man, and you were getting treated like you were some sort of slime ball. That was my problem with it.
I don't care. I'm good in my life, man. I'm happy. I don't give a shit what anybody has to say. So whatever. Miguel asked, did Jack Harlow have a stunt double or can he really hoop?
He can hoop.
Now, it looked like he could hoop. There was a lot of cuts and edits in the basketball scene. So I figured they were like taking a lot of takes to make sure people can make shots. But it looked like he could actually play. So I will say that much. Miguel said she was male hating. She was damaged. Yeah, look, people got some issues going on. We respect mental health and all that. So, yeah. So let me ask you this: since you are a sports movie aficionado, Landry? What is your top 5 sports movies of all time?
Damn.
And does this new White Men Can't Jump crack it?
Come on. Let's be serious. Let's be serious. You got to put White Men Can't Jump up there. You have to. I'm not, no particular order. White Men Can't Jump's up there. Remember the Titans has to be up there. I think League of Their Own's underrated. I know that's I think League of Their Own's one of the most underrated like sports movies that there is. I think Bull Durham's good. If we're talking baseball, you can go really deep in the game. He Got Game's great too. And that actually travels really well. So I would put He Got Game up there, but that would just be 5 off the dome. And you can give or take. The one movie that a lot of people like that I don't like Hoop Dreams. It doesn't do it for me.
I mean, well, that doesn't really count. That's that's like a documentary. It's not really like you can't put that next to Rudy or something like that, man. Like, or Remember the Titans. It's like a documentary. That's like putting The Last Dance almost against a movie. Like it's a documentary. It don't really count.
Some people it was in theaters and stuff. So I know Wade Smith said that's his favorite movie is Hoop Dreams, but there's so many good sports movies. Football, baseball. Field of Dreams sucks. I mean, I don't know where these dudes, like, you get some boomers started talking about Field of Dreams. It's one of the dumbest movies of all time. Like it's probably not a top 50 sports movie. That movie sucks.
I don't even look at that as a sports movie because I just saw it not that long ago.
You saw it?
Yeah, I actually saw it.
Did you think it was as trash as I do?
I wouldn't. It was cheesy as hell. It was very cheesy. But I wouldn't say that's in the same ballpark as like Remember the Titans or something like that. I feel like it's not even a sports movie. I feel like a sport. What's the criteria for a sports movie? It got to be like an actual sports team, though, right?
I don't know.
Because
I mean, you mean like a real or fictional? Because there's plenty of good sports movies about like fictional teams and shit.
yeah. That's perfectly fine right there. But I just felt like what was the movie? Field of Dreams. I felt like that. What was the team?
Nah, it was just
Like, it
baseball,
was
romanticizing baseball.
Yeah, it was a make-believe team. I mean, it was an imaginary team.
Do y'all like Sandlot?
Of course.
Okay. Above
That's
the rim.
good.
Above the rim's nice too.
Yeah, of course.
One of the best
Classic.
soundtracks ever too, for sure.
Yeah.
Above the rim's awesome. That travels real well. You remember back in the NBA on TNT days, like after every single, like if you stayed up late and watched the West Coast game, Above the Rim always came on right after. So you'd stay up late.
The edited version. Yeah,
you'd stay up till 1 and watch Above the Rim.
Yeah, the edited TV version. Tupac, you can't even understand half the things he's saying. Yeah, what is this stuff? Like, okay. But of course, Coach Carter. I can't remember. Was Coach Carter with Samuel L. Jackson?
Yeah, I didn't like it. I
can't remember that one.
Channing Tatum was on the team, man. That just kind of threw me off.
There was a lot of, I remember around the Remember Titans time, there was a lot of inspirational black guy, old black man teaches.
Glory Road.
The Rock was in one too. Which one was he in?
Gridiron Gang.
Yeah, there's a lot of like fake Remember the Titan movies coming out around the same time.
Hardball.
Who was in that?
Keanu Reeves. He teaches the inner city kids. He has a gambling problem.
I forgot completely about that.
Yeah, with Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah.
I forgot about that completely, man. But yeah, there was a lot of fake ass Remember the Titans movies when that movie came out, man. I remember that vividly.
They actually kicked everyone's ass, by the way. That movie's pretty unrealistic. Like they beat teams' asses. Like,
look, you have to make movies dramatic, okay?
I know. But I'm just saying, like the only team with the brothers on it kicked everyone's ass. Like they made it seem like they were like in like some sort of battle. They were kicking everyone's ass.
Yeah. What was that movie about the first college team to start an all black? What was that one?
Glory Road.
Yeah, that one was okay. That one was
pretty good. It's pretty good. And I think they played like Kentucky and stuff like that. Yeah, Glory Road.
It was hilarious thinking about stuff that was controversial back in the day, though. I'm gonna start 5 black players. You can't do that.
What, you like crazy? Any given Sunday?
Huh?
You like Any Given Sunday?
Oh, of course, man.
How much? Like how?
I feel like it's classic, but it's classic the way that Scarface is classic.
Bro, come on. You bought Pacino as a coach?
No, yeah, listen to me, man.
How are you going to Scarface in Any Given Sunday?
Listen to where I'm going with
this.
I
got to hear this.
Scarface is a great movie, but it is completely ridiculous. It's like a cartoon almost. Everything that happens in that movie is just completely out of this world, but it's still a great movie because it's just great performances and everybody is on 10. Same thing with Any Given Sunday. Any Given Sunday is not no NFL biography, man. It's completely absurd the way things happen in that film, but it's still fun to watch. It's still fun to watch Jamie Foxx and LL Cool J and Al Pacino being Al Pacino in this Al Pacinoist role. So it is a very entertaining movie, but it is not realistic at all.
Man.
And I guess if you're a hardcore NFL fan, you'd hate it. But I'm not, so I loved it.
I love Scarface, man. God, I love Scarface.
Scarface is almost like a comedy to me. I watch it and I crack up laughing.
Funny parts. You think
all of it is funny, man.
You like Godfather?
Yeah, of course.
It's trash, man.
Stop.
That movie's trash.
Enough.
No, it is. Someone told you to like Godfather and you liked it. Because
no, they didn't. Actually,
that movie is slow as hell.
What are you talking about, man?
Come on, bro. You think that travels well?
Yes, 100%. I saw it in the theaters last year, and it was still great.
Man,
You're tripping, man.
No.
Like, I don't even know what to say to that. I can't really even
You just
reply to
compared
that.
Scarface to Any Given Sunday.
Yeah, because they're both absurd movies starring Al Pacino.
Godfather
Yeah.
moves too slow for me, man.
I don't. You're on crack, man.
There's
I don't know what
nothing
to
funny.
I
It's
don't-
just like a slow ass.
It's not supposed to be a funny movie, man. I can't if you don't like Godfather, I don't know how to explain it to you that would make you like it. You must just not like it. So
No.
I can't say anything.
Now, do y'all feel like Godfather is more realistic than like Scar? I know Scarface ain't realistic, but do you feel like it's actually realistic? The Godfather.
I mean, look, in the time it came out, it was like the most realistic portrayal of the mafia that had ever been put out on film, man. And like even the mafia was asking the writers and directors, how did y'all know all this shit? You know, it was the closest to the actual mob that a movie ever got at that time. And I think the themes of family and succession, the acting performances, everything about the movie is good, man. And I feel like, honestly, it moves fast for a 3-hour movie. Every time I watch it, I'm like, damn, we're already almost at the end. Because things happen really quick in that movie.
You know what I think it is? Because I think Landry's not the first person that said this. I felt like a lot of people look for a lot of action, like a lot of bang, bang, shoot 'em up action straight off. And The Godfather is not that. You actually got to pay attention and see what's going on. To me, it seemed more realistic. That's like when people say, The Wire suck.
Yeah.
But The Wire is more realistic than like your Power or Snowfall or something like that. It's not a whole bunch of like big shootouts and I'm gonna go out like Tony Montana type shit. I think The Godfather is more realistic, and a show like The Wire is more realistic. Like I can relate to that shit.
It's the build up to the action. There is action in the movie, but there's a tense build up to it. But I know why Landry don't like Godfather. It's because everybody told him it was the greatest movie ever. So he watched it expecting to hate it because he is a contrarian, just like me. An extent. Honestly, when everybody tells me something is great, I'd be like, man, y'all, let me watch this dick riding ass movie and find out why it's trash. But I think you watched it with the expectation that, everybody thinks this is the greatest movie ever. It better blow my socks off. And you watched it and it moved slow to you. So you're like, this is ass.
No,
if you watch it with an open mind, you will get into the story.
No, I have. I've tried. It's hard to get through. Like it's tough. I don't even like action. Like I don't like any Marvel movies. I don't like any of that stuff. I don't like action. I think Scarface is funny. I think it's more realistic than you give it credit for. Like
Scarface is
Miami back in the day. Like it's more realistic than you give it credit for. Godfather's just slow. It's low hanging fruit bull crap. Like, oh man, that's mommy. We're gonna get this. It's just come on, man. Like
low
the dialogue,
fruit.
It's not even that good at acting. Like it's just not that good of a movie. It's not that good of a movie, man.
Okay.
So how y'all feel about the Goodfellas?
Awesome.
You like the Goodfellas?
Awesome.
Goodfellas is good, but it's like I said, it's more. I know why Landry likes that more because it's more funny. Okay, it's more of a comedy. It doesn't take itself
dramatic
too seriously.
There's some drama there,
but it's a lot of funny shit in it too.
So
Joe Pesci is just funny in everything he's in.
Let me ask you this, Landry. Like, what's a movie you like that's very old? Because I know The Godfather is kind of old. That's what, like 71, 72, somewhere around there.
Yeah,
do you like
early
older,
70s.
Yeah. Do you like older movies older than that, or?
Yeah, I got in a big 80s movie kick. So I can get down with like some 80s movies and just, go down that list. But
anything past 1980 do you like?
I would have to see a list. I don't what are we talking about? Like what are some movies before? I don't even know what
I'm trying to get at. So I feel like you probably not a fan of anything past the 80s. Because I think that's what it is, because it might be a hard watch for you. That's why it probably seemed super slow. Because I like a few movies in the 70s. One of my favorite movies in the 70s is The Warriors. I think that's a great movie. And I think that was like 79. But you seem like you capped off like at the 80s and up.
No, I like some stuff's ahead of its time. Like I'm looking at best 70s movies. Yeah, I'm not.
Nothing you've seen before. or like.
Yeah. And no, I get it too, because when I was younger, I wasn't really into it. Like my parents used to watch Superfly. And I was just like, man, I don't like what is going on. Like, I ain't really understand what's going on. But as a grown man, when I seen it, I'm like, damn, this movie actually all right. And I was pissed when they remade it.
So I'll say Bad News Bears. I can get down with that in the 70s.
Okay.
Not big on Rocky. Don't really. I mean, not really
Wow.
huge on Rocky. It's all right.
A white man beats a black man, and you don't even like that movie?
He lost, didn't he?
No, oh, in the first one he lost. In the second
he
one,
lost.
But barely. In the second one, he won.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, there's like Jaws was whack to me. Like, yeah, some of that 70s stuff was rough.
No, okay.
Taxi Driver, never seen it.
That's a good. Yeah, I don't know if you'll like Taxi Driver. Don't watch.
They had it number 1.
You gotta watch. You gotta watch The Warriors. I think you'll like The Warriors.
You will like The Warriors. I think it's a good movie.
Check that out.
Robert on Facebook says, "Well, Landry do believe Al Pacino as a Hispanic drug dealer." Yeah.
Hey, I also believed Yokozuna was a sumo wrestler and he was Samoan. So yeah, I'm a very gullible guy.
Ernesto says Landry says reality TV is the best thing on TV.
No doubt.
Okay.
I watch all that cheesy reality show. That's me, man. I'm on all that. All of it.
And Miguel says, I'd rather watch Love is Blind than The Godfather. Okay.
No doubt. Love is Blind is awesome, man. That might be the best show popping right now. That's about to take over the game. Seriously.
Y'all are tripping, man.
Miguel
you
got
watch
Succession?
Yeah.
I seen the first episode. That was it. I'm gonna get back.
I haven't seen it yet. Now, is it on? What is it on?
HBO.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Well,
Super
HBO
finale
Max
is this
on
Sunday.
Max now.
Yeah, super finale is this Sunday. I binged it in like a week and a half, 4 seasons, and it's pretty good. I think it moves at a decent pace for you. The dialogue, corruption, stuff like that.
Miguel mentioned Boogie Nights. Boogie Nights was not a 70s movie. It was a movie set in the 70s.
That's a good ass movie, though.
It was a good movie, though. And shout out to Derek on Facebook, man. He mentioned he was dealing with some family stuff and it had been a hard time. So shout out to you, Derek. Hopefully you're doing well, man. So yeah, hope everything's well over there. So we ain't gonna hold you too long, man. Let's get into a few other things real quick and kind of I don't know, spitball it, speed run it. You have some topics listed here, and I don't know the context, so I'll just read it out, and I want to know what you think. South hip hop bias. What do you mean by that?
Man, we've always talked about this. I just like South rap. I don't like any East Coast stuff.
Wait, hold on. Why do you hate East Coast rap so much?
Not into it. It's not anything bad. I feel like a lot of times they're trying to force you to like certain artists. I'm not. Just the overall sound, like the East Coast rappers I've liked the most have been 50 Cent and probably like DMX. But like when you talk about like the whole Rockefeller sound and all that type of stuff, just not really into it. And I do feel like a lot of times they try to force feed you New York rappers. So I stay Texas, Louisiana, Atlanta, Memphis. That's really just where I'm at. We've always talked about this, like the Jay-Z and all that type of stuff. I know you're a big Jay-Z guy, Rock. I'm just not. It's never really been into it. I'm very South biased. Yeah.
I mean, look, I used to be like that in high school. I used to only bump Southern rappers, and I didn't like Jay-Z back in the day. I didn't like maybe I like Wu-Tang, a few songs, but I didn't like, for the most part, I didn't like Nas growing up. So, I mean, it's something you really just have to listen to, man. Like the lyrics, it's a different sound. That old sample sound is different, but lyrically, man, the shit they talk about is like some real shit, man. And you have to appreciate that at least. But I get you. I can't knock that because I was the same way growing up. So
yeah, and I kind of see what Landry mean, because like they still think they could do that now. And I was a heavy New Yorker, unofficial New Yorker when it came to music. But even still in 2023, they still feel like they're the capital of hip hop. And this is like, nah, it's a whole.
Feel that way?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, because it cracks me up, because whenever I hear somebody talking about a New York artist, it's a female New York artist name. I think her name's Scar Lip. And she got like a heavy New York sound. and she had a I guess Busta Rhymes hopped on one of her songs, and all these New Yorkers were like, "Oh yeah, she out of here now. She out of here. Oh, she the hottest thing." I was just like, man, ain't nobody listening to that in Houston. Like, ain't like don't nobody know who she is in Houston. So they still have that cockiness from back in the day, like back in the early 90s when New York was the only thing played on radio. And now, man, like you got people in Houston that actually have a record label and actually move around and get shit on the radio, get shit popping. So I think, so that kind of show when I moved down here, that showed me a lot where I'm like, man, a lot of people down here don't really care about French Montana. A lot of people don't care about Uncle Murder. So I think New Yorkers still feel like it's their king. And everything move out of New York, which is I don't think it's true at all.
Who's the hottest out of New York right now?
Oh man,
I guarantee you it's somebody that sound like they're from Atlanta.
Yeah, or Chicago.
Or Chicago, yeah. So like I would probably guess and say somebody like 5-Year Foreign who
Really?
sound
Wait, no, Ice Spice is from New York, so it's definitely her.
Yeah, I would say her, yeah. But they have that whole it's a whole New York drill sound, which they clearly took from Chicago. But I guess they put a New York twist on it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, take that for what it is.
Yep.
Yeah, Ice Spice. I don't know who else, but
it's a few of them. But I would say Ice Spice is probably the hottest right now. Other things, you have a difference in local team Twitters. Now I know you're a Twitter war veteran. I see you mixing it up with the Twitter stand bases every week.
Look at
so
you.
Look, you do, man. You be fan the flames and fan the fire. I see you get into it. You do.
Nah, go with that timeline. I am an observer, my friend.
Okay. So what do you mean by differences in local team Twitters?
Well, I was just like, what do y'all think is the difference between like Astros Twitter, Texans Twitter, and Rockets Twitter? If I asked you, Figgy, what do you think is the difference between the Twitters?
Astros Twitter. I actually like Astros Twitter because I feel like the girls on Astros Twitter look good. So I like Astros Twitter. But honestly, I feel like the vibes are good on Astros Twitter because they winning. And the only thing that irritates me with them is whenever they talk about the cheating shit. They bring up New York and they talk about they cheating too. That's the only thing that kind of irritate me. Rockets, it seemed like Rockets Twitter. I don't know. I don't want to say it can be a little delusional.
I feel like they're smart though. Like they're very like they give you more information than the media when it comes to like just stats, like Willem Brado and like all these like Roosh, all those dudes. Like they freaking cover the team better than anyone. Like it's actually pretty impressive, some of the numbers they put out and stuff, info. Although it does seem like Rockets, like the front office kind of panders to them a little bit. Like they had a Twitter day one day at the stadium, which was kind of strange, but I think they're interesting. Texans is just a mix of everything.
Yeah, I think it's just, you get some of everything. You got the smart people on, Texas Twitter. You got the ones that's
crazy asses.
Yeah, the crazy ones. You got
Brown chubby bear.
Yeah. So you got a lot of people that do a good job with Texas Twitter, but then you also got the other side of it.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot more personal attacks in Texans Twitter.
Man. And I think Deshaun had a lot to do with that. And then the Easterby factor and O'Brien and all that.
Yeah. The Deshaun thing really split, I feel, the fan base. People who sided with him and people who sided against him. That really, and I think we're still seeing the reverberation of that in the fan base, man. So I don't know. I think that's probably the most toxic one of all of them right now. But they're all kind of different.
It's passion, man, for sure.
Yeah.
The Deshaun, which I don't understand why you felt like you had to go for or against on that. Like some things it's okay to stay in the middle on.
This is Twitter we're talking about.
Yeah, that's true.
Look,
Yeah.
on Twitter, you pick a side and you stick by it no matter what. Okay. That's Twitter rules.
Honestly, man, I kind of understand why people do that shit because as soon as you change your opinion, they gonna search your damn Twitter
Yep.
and say, this is you. Like, damn, bro, like I can't change my mind. So
That's
now
why
I get why people do that shit now.
It's a waste to have like a nuanced discussion on Twitter about sports because you're never going to get like people who are willing to change their mind on anything. Okay. So you might as well just be like, just engage in the fuckery and troll and do whatever you want, but don't try to like bring facts and shit and try to change people's minds because you're not going to. Everybody picked a side and they're sticking with it. So it just is what it is, man. You also, what up, Spoon? We see you in the comments, man. What up, Spoon? Brad Spoon on Facebook. Now you also have Ja Morant. I'm guessing you have some hot takes on YSL Morant over here.
I want a pair of those kicks, man. I could have gotten that draw. That's my biggest regret, man. Those sold out in 4 minutes.
Nike sold out. Nike put Kyrie Irving shoes back on for half price, and I bought a pair. I don't even like them, but I bought a pair because it was fucking half price, man. So like only $60 or something. So if they try to offload the Ja Morants and give them away for half price, I'll buy them.
They sold out in 4 minutes at full price.
Well, damn.
Yeah, so they put them out 2 days ago and they sold out. They sold out in 4 minutes. And I'll be honest, they're badass hooping shoes. Like they're sick and they're 110, so it's a good price point. But with all the controversy and everything there, they put out the Ja Morants and they sold out in 4 minutes from the draw and stuff like that.
I want to ask y'all this because I was thinking about it earlier because me and Landry kind of brought up the whole shoes, Ja Morant shoes. What was the last basketball player shoe that y'all was like, man, I gotta get these? I feel like it's been a minute, man. I think the last pair I was like, oh, I gotta get these were probably LeBron's. And that was like the LeBron 1s or 2s.
KD was kind of ahead of the game when it came to low tops. Like I felt like as far as hooping in low tops, I felt like KD kind of because I was still hooping when those came out. Like KD, he was like, now there's all kinds of, well, Kobe had them too. But they kind of Kobe's kind of scared me because they just looked like too low. But KD kind of had the perfect balance of the mid and the low. So I would probably say KD's. Yeah. You know the shoes that effed your feet up worse than anything back in the day? Those T-Mac Adidas were brutal, man.
Oh yeah.
You look like you basically walk barefoot when you take those off. That first run of T-Macs, my feet hurt just talking about those.
The last player recent player whose shoes I really wanted but never did get. I want the Chris Paul New Orleans Hornets shoes. Okay. I actually like those colorways, man. I thought the Hornets had a dope colorway. They're the Jazz. They're not the Jazz. They're the Pelicans now. But back then they were the Charlotte Hornets, and Chris Paul had a dope colorway for his shoes, man. I wanted them and I never did get them. I was too broke. So, but that was probably the last pair of shoes I really wanted from like a recent player. Can't think of anybody else. So.
I was out there. I was not a low top guy as far as like the KDs, so I didn't even want to touch those. But I think it was the LeBron because I had the very first LeBrons, and people like when I wore these the ninth when I first hit 9th grade. Man, when I tell you, I thought I was gonna get robbed for them shoes, man, because nobody else had them. And when I tell you dudes was walking up to me like, those are LeBrons, they was like picking up my foot. I'm like, man, they might try to snatch these off my feet. So like dudes walk away like, man, I got to get some LeBrons, man. I got to get some LeBrons. I'm like, oh shit, man. I was on the bus, but that was the last pair like basketball shoes, like basketball player shoes I actually wanted. Outside the obvious Jordans and all that.
Yeah. I feel like and I don't blame them for making shoes that you ball in, but Jordans were successful because they look good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I feel like most players' shoes don't look good, man. Like even the new LeBrons that come out, they don't look cool, man. And it's like that's the thing about the Jordans. That's why they're still popular to this day because they look cool to wear.
And
They aren't good to play in, but they look cool to wear.
And yeah, and the thing is, like the new shoes now, they look good to play on the court.
Yeah.
But like, how can you get fly with those type of shoes, man? You can get fly with Jordans all day long, but you can't really get fly with some KDs. I mean, just you can't be in no club with no KDs, man. That to me, I just feel like that a little weird.
What do you think about these dudes rocking like pink and yellow with like that don't even match their uniform nowadays? Like, what are we doing? When did this start?
I can't answer for recent fashion trends, man. I'm lost on all of it. I have no comment.
You're a damn Boston Celtic and you got pink and green shoes. Like, what are we doing here?
I respect the LGBTQ community. Okay, whatever they want to.
That's not what it's for. But you've seen all these wild ass colored shoes.
I don't know if it's for Pride Month or what, man. But look,
they got like gold and all that. I don't know what's going on out there.
I can't speak to it. I'm 36 years old, man. I'm lost on that shit now. Spoon says the last celeb shoes I got were the JJ Watts. Mick asked, did y'all have the Starberries? No, I think I had a pair of Akeems back in the day.
The Spaldings. Those Spaldings went hard, man.
I had the Payless Hakeem shoes, man. We didn't have all that much money.
I got the Reebok Shacks.
Those are clean though.
Oh, zebras?
Yeah.
Not the zebras. I ain't got the zebra ones, but yeah, I still got them.
The Shacks are clean, man.
Those is hard. I'll tell you one thing too. When I used to work at a high school before I moved here, and I wore those to the high school, man, these kids was trying to crack on like he got some Shacks.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, homie, these are Reebok Shacks. These ain't the Shacks in Walmart. These are the original Reebok Shacks. These was hard. And one kid came to my defense like, oh yeah, no, those hard. And then he brought up the zebra ones. I'm like, yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. Like they ain't hip to the original Shacks.
That's another thing. Like I feel like people don't like Shacks because of him being corny. But Shaq had a good shoe, man. They still sell the retro Shacks, and they look good.
Yeah, the Shacks, Sean Kemp's,
Kemp, the Reebok with the wave.
Yeah,
those were nasty.
Yep.
It was Grant Hill Filas. Man, that's why he got hurt.
I actually asked
Nike. You have them still?
No, I don't got them now. No, I had them as a kid.
I wonder how much those would run for because I don't even think they make those.
I might have to find those.
Man, those Filas, those were random as hell when he put those out.
Yeah.
God.
Robert said the Iversons. Yeah, I think Reebok is underrated, man. I feel like they don't get enough love. I think it's all Nike and Adidas.
Now? I tried to buy some. They sold out fast. I was talking to Figgy about it because I'm not even really a sneakerhead at all, but they combine Reebok Classics and pumps. So they have Reebok Classic pumps and they sold out real fast. Like I think they only have like size 10 and lower now, but yeah, Reebok and Reebok's re-releasing their stuff. Yeah. Like the Iversons, the questions and then the answers. Those were nasty. Sean Kemp was nasty. Shaq, like they had an arsenal back in the day.
Yeah. I still fuck with Reebok, man.
Remember Converse Reacts?
Oh yeah.
Was that AJ? Was that Kevin Johnson that rocked those? Because it had the bubble on the bottom and it was like two straps. I think Kevin Johnson rocked Cons.
I can't even remember.
Larry Johnson did Grandma Ma's. Remember the Converse Reacts? Man,
I remember the commercials at least. I know, right? Players
would that be okay now? Could you be Grandma Ma? Would it be more accepted or less accepted nowadays?
100% less accepted, man. Come on now.
I'm asking. I don't know.
People would get upset by that. They would say it's
they'd cancel Larry.
They say it was drag queen erasure or something. I don't know. They would make up some term as to why it's offensive. So
no Larry.
Yeah,
Grandma Ma.
You can't do that, man. Not today.
Dallas Skyline.
So yeah, John Morant. I guess everybody isn't Michael Wilbon, seeing as how his shoes are still selling out. So I guess somebody's sons is getting them. I don't know. But
he's the one who said that he wouldn't let his son get the shoes, right?
Yeah, he got very mad about it, and I thought
good for him. That's a way to make a stand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think they missed it.
Sidebar, I can't stand Michael Wilbon, man.
Really?
I'm sorry. I cannot stand Michael Wilbon. He is one of the corniest dudes on ESPN, period. And ESPN got a lot of corny people. He's one of the worst.
Give me the top 5 corniest. No particular order.
Man.
No particular order. I'm here for this.
I really got to think. Who do
Wilbon's
I not
up
like?
there? Trying to think about who you'd hate. So Wilbon's up there for you, not for me.
Wilbon, I don't know. Malika Andrews definitely is up there. I know she's not she's like a host, but I can't stand her. Yeah. Who else? On ESPN. What's that?
How you feel about JJ Redick?
I don't hate JJ Redick, man. I don't hate JJ Redick. I think he has knowledge, and he has some spicy hot takes at times that seem kind of out of character, but I think he's fine, man. I have nothing against him. Who else is really corny that I don't like on ESPN?
Kendrick Perkins.
Kendrick Perkins is I hated him for a long time. Now I'm starting to come around a little bit.
Really?
Okay. I think he's kind of entertaining for what he is. And he's like a more remedial Charles Barkley, I guess. But I kind of like him now, man. I've come around, but I really didn't like him at first.
About Jalen Rose.
Jalen Rose is corny, man. I'm sorry. Like his I'm 50 years old, still in touch with the streets and shit. And this, if you didn't know, this came from Tony Yayo. You don't know anything about our culture. Shut the fuck up, man. Like the baseball bat he used to bring to that show, like everything he did was super corny, man. I liked him when he was shitting on Skip Bayless in the early days of First Take. But ever since then, he's been trying too hard, man. Okay. He's been doing too much. I don't like Jalen Rose, so I'll put him up there too.
Okay, Jalen Rose. Okay.
So yeah, but there's a few at ESPN I just really can't stand, man.
You like Stephen A. You respect that though?
Yeah, Stephen A. Say what you want about Stephen A. Man, he's fucking entertaining, dog. He's funny and he has some classic moments.
Period. Like, and the thing about it is, like, I think people have kind of lost touch because people try to duplicate that, and it's like, you ain't that. Like, you're not Stephen A. and you're duplicating it. So now all of a sudden you hate the whole genre. It's like if you hate a certain like genre of music, you start to hate the person who created it because of the people who copied it. And the reality is, like, it's like debate class. Like if you had debate class in high school, like these whole shows started as debate class. You take a side, you take a side. And then all of a sudden it transitioned to where people are clipping it and you're taking it like serious. And you're acting like he's just like some sort of hardhead. And then you're taking stuff that he says and putting out of context. Yeah. And all that. Like Stephen A's the GOAT. He's the legend. He's the man. Like you're not going to agree with everything he says, but yeah, he's the best. Like you have to. And I think Wilbon and Kornheiser too. Like I think they you got to admit at least like you don't have to do shit, but like they did start a pretty good format that I think a lot of people kind of piggybacked off of.
Look, to be honest, like I watched the interview with Dan Le Batard and Stephen A. Smith, where Dan Le Batard blames Stephen A. Smith and Skip Bayless for ruining sports talk.
Yeah.
And really that was Wilbon and Kornheiser, because they were like the first solely debate show that I had seen before.
Yeah.
And it got massively popular. And then look, it's not like it happened overnight, but that showed that the formula was popular. So it really started with them. I like PTI. Like, even though I don't like Wilbon, I think they play off each other well. It's the highest rated show on ESPN for a reason. But personally, I just don't like Wilbon, period. Some of the shit he said is, I remember he used to call Magic Johnson Irvin. Remember that? Yeah. He always called Magic. He was the only person on earth, I'm sure, besides his wife.
He just wants people to know that he knows.
He's like, I'm cool. Hey, you're Irvin to me. He probably would call Muhammad Ali Cassius if he was still alive. Me and Cassius were hanging out the other day. Who? Me and Irvin were talking on the phone. Bitch, shut the fuck up, man. He's Magic, dog. I can't stand that shit, man.
Do you like Max Kellerman?
I didn't like him on First Take, but I like him in general. I liked him doing boxing stuff early on with HBO. I think he's good on his show now. But I didn't like him on First Take, man. I'm not mad at Stephen A. Smith for letting him go. People got pissed about that, but the show
Well,
was
being
whack
open about it
with
too. He
them
was
two.
transparent, which I respect too.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I respect that. He said, "Hey, we need to freshen this up. Like I need something
And the
else."
show got better once
It
they
did.
started bringing in people like Mad Dog and Michael Irvin. Like, look, say what you want about it being low barometer type shit, man, but it's funny and entertaining, and that's what you want to do. So it is what it is. And rounding out the discussion, man, you have a basic ass top 5 rappers / albums.
Nah, we ain't got to do all that. I don't want to set you guys off on that. I just said,
let's guess what it is.
Jay-Z's in there.
Top 5, my top 5 rappers. You think Jay-Z's in my top 5?
No, you said top. You said basic.
His
ass. You mean okay? I get what you mean. You mean like your
the basic ass stuff.
Okay, I'm sure you got Chameleonaire.
Get your mind correct.
You got Chameleonaire. Get your mind correct in your top 5.
Yeah, Get Your Mind Correct is my favorite album of all time. That's number 1.
You probably got
Gucci Mane.
Gucci Mane's in my top 5. So Chameleonaire, Gucci Mane's number 2. Just do rappers right now. Chameleonaire's 5, Gucci's 2.
Okay.
Webby and Bootsy.
Nah, they don't. You got to have a little more body of work than that. Although
who else
the albums, they definitely get in there.
We know you ain't got Scarface in there. You got it has to be who else do you like? Would you put you don't like Jeezy, so he's not in there. What? Silk the Shocker?
Master P. We got
Masterpiece 3. Masterpiece 3.
Master P is brother.
Influence, just because sheer influence. So Gucci 2, Master P 3, Chameleonaire 5. Just sheer influence.
And who's number 4? Juvenile.
Man, I have some respect for this. I put Snoop at 4.
No, okay.
Master P is in it, but not Juvenile.
There would be no Juvenile without Master P, sir. There would be no
Juvenile is a much better rapper though, man. Like,
he had a nice run. He was the face of Cash Money originally, for sure. But Master P just hustling, just the whole. There would be no Juvenile without Master P. Let's be serious. You know that, right? No. And number 1 is Wayne. I think Wayne's number 1, and I think he should be number 1 on everyone's list. Honestly, nobody's had a longer body of work than that ever.
Jay-Z did, but
come on,
that's neither here or there.
Come on. How long was Jay-Z good?
From 96 to I want to say 2005.
That's 9 years, man. How long was Wayne going?
Wayne, okay. Let me check, because let's not act like let me see when Carter, I will start it with, even though he really popped off when Carter 3 came out, I'm gonna say
you're
Carter
not even
2.
Carter 1, or you're not even giving Carter 1 any credit.
Carter 1 was not being called the best rapper alive when Carter 1 came out.
But that was when it started. But that was when you started really taking him like, damn, this guy's
okay. We'll go from Carter 1.
Do you count his run there at Carter?
You're not counting Block is Hot. You're not counting Lights Out. You're not counting any of that in the early 2000s. You're not counting any of that.
That was not the same Lil Wayne, man.
He was a teenager though. Like but he progressed. Like like you saw him grow like the whole time. Like he wasn't like as far as like the whole body of work. You're starting him at Carter 3.
But what was his prime though? Because I felt
prime was Carter 1 through 3, maybe 4.
Because I got hit. I want to say it was Carter 2, Carter 1 or Carter 2. That's when I'm like, all right, this guy's all right. And I've been listening to Lil Wayne for a minute, but I never really cared for Cash Money like that up until like Carter 1, where I'm like, oh, this dude is big for real.
I love Cash Money, so I like Carter 1 because that was the last time he did a album with Manny Fresh. So that was like the Man I Miss My Dogs and all that. Like that's my favorite for sure. But
if we go from the Carter to the Carter 3, which I think we would say his prime that's 4 years.
You think Lil Wayne had a 4-year run?
If we go from The Block is Hot to Carter 3, look, I think we can all agree the fall off of Wayne started when he released that Rebirth album in 2010.
Bro, he was on drugs, man.
It don't fucking matter, man. It like I am not a human being. That was the end of Wayne, man. That whole I want to be a rock star skater in my 30s.
But here's the other thing. Yeah, that was weird. The skateboarding. But here's the other thing that was weird though, that I don't think Lil Wayne gets enough credit for is you don't like the Cash Money when The Block Is Hot. I think if you go back and listen to The Block Is Hot, like it's badass. Like it travels as good. Like you'll go back and you'll be like, damn, how the hell is this guy coming out with this? Like even like the songs that nobody talks about, it's like incredible. But he also, like in the 2000s, I'll say from like 01 to 03, dude, he was doing underground stuff that we just weren't hearing because it wasn't like the SoundCloud stuff. So if you go back and just listen to some of the underground stuff, like when it seemed like he kind of took a break and then it intensified as the Carter came up, like you go Dedication 1 through 3, like you could say that Dedication 1 and 2 is as good as some of the Carters.
He had classic mixtapes. He had classic
his mixtapes were like next level type stuff.
But
so I don't know. But yeah, I feel you. I don't know when Jay-Z. I've never been able to listen to a Jay-Z album from beginning to end. I've just never been able to do it.
Okay, to each their own, man. To each their own. But
who knows, man?
I won't argue anybody down who puts Wayne in their top 5.
Okay? Yeah, I got to that point because at first, like a few years ago, I would have thought you was crazy.
Yeah.
But now I kind of got to the point where I'm like, I'm not even mad at it. Like he not number 1 on my list, but I'm not mad if somebody got him number 1. I think he earned it. And he probably put in more work than anybody. Like even the Jay-Z's. Jay-Z, he ain't put out as many songs as Lil Wayne and features and all that stuff. He was a little more exclusive, but Lil Wayne, he put in more work than anybody. I don't know anybody that put in more work than him. Maybe
he was carrying the Roadcaster. I mean, he was carrying the Roadcaster before, like whatever the version was, just like taking it out all the time. And let's be honest, my dumbass would probably have him in there had he not like gotten serious. So like did I think that Lil Wayne was going to drop Carters and all of a sudden people would be calling them the best rapper in the world, even as much of a fan as I was of him? Hell no. Like that surprised. I mean, that had to have surprised anyone. Like, I don't think anyone thought that he had that in his bag, but I think the fact that he had it in his bag, it goes back and it makes the old stuff look better that maybe I would like no matter what, but a lot of people might not have liked. Like, you know who I thought was on track to being like in the conversation for maybe not top 5, but top 10. And this is a damn shame what this man's become. He is pathetic. It's disgusting to see how sorry this dude has been for a long time. T.I. sucks. And T.I., like, if you go back and listen to T.I., like,
rock his language now.
no, like, serious. But you got to admit, like, when he dropped Urban Legend, and then you went back and you listened to trap music and I'm Serious and stuff, and he had Pharrell producing his album, and you didn't give a damn about it, but you go back and listen, you're like, damn, this dude's rapping like completely different. And then you listen to trap music and you kind of see him like evolving. Like he was one of the faces of like the good ass trap music, like mainstream that was getting like taken serious. And if you play Urban Legend from front to back, like T.I. was like headlining like shows to where like T.I. was the freaking man. It's amazing how much he sucks. That completely dropped off as soon as that happened. I don't know what the hell happened to him. He can't even put out music now.
He got older, man. Like,
come on.
With these,
everybody.
But that's the issue with these swag rappers, man. Once they look at Lil Wayne, man, he's having trouble booking shows and he's getting mad at people and leaving after 15 minutes because they ain't cheering enough for Lil Twist or whoever the fuck is up there, man. Like everybody, these swag rappers, when they get older, nobody gives a fuck, man.
But do you think you thought Wayne was a swag rapper? I didn't even think T.I. was a swag rapper. Really, like when I think swag rapper, I think like Soulja Boy or something like that. Like I don't think of these guys as like swag rappers.
He made swagger like us, so
I think
put him up there.
I think T.I. problem was once he beat that case or that weird case it was where
beat that case.
Yeah, beat that case.
You can't rap about the same stuff and have the same style. You can't quite say stand up anymore.
Yeah, he tried to still be in that type of shit, but making the songs with Rihanna and all that stuff, which was a good song. Like, I guess it did numbers, but it just wasn't the same, man.
I mean, he started acting, man. He was an Ant-Man and Ant-Man 2. You can't be an Ant-Man and then come make a rap album, man. Like, that's a rap at that point, okay? You can't be in the MCU, then be dropping some. That's what Ludacris is trying to do now. He's trying to come back as a rapper. It's a rap, man. Like, pack it up, dog. Just be happy you're in 15 Fast and Furious movies making money that way. You can't come back to rap.
Is Drake going to be in the top 5 when he's done?
To young people, yes. To people who are like in their 20s and early 30s, maybe now, definitely. To me, no. I wouldn't put him top 5. But look, the people who grew up with his music are definitely going to put him up there. And it's their opinion, I guess. But yeah, I would disagree.
Give him his respect on that.
So we don't want to hold you. Well, we already held you a long ass time, man.
Yeah.
I know we've been rolling for a minute now. So Robert says Wayne and Eminem are gimmicky rappers to me.
Okay.
Gimmicky. I don't know, man.
All right. Wayne's
Brad
gimmicky,
says we're band,
like,
man.
come on.
My take on T.I., man, I don't think T.I. was really ever that good. People just like to style. But think about it, man. If you're doing like how many T.I., not even albums, because I know we don't go back to no T.I. albums. How many T.I. songs do we go back and listen to, honestly?
Like listen
honestly,
to? Like, what do you mean listen to?
Like, if you got a playlist of Southern music, do you have a lot of T.I. on it?
I mean, I think you can go through Urban Legend and get a few. You can get Bring 'Em Out. You can get Bring 'Em Out. You can get You Don't Know Me.
I think, honestly, me being out, and I like T.I. I think his music, he's kind of falling in that category where if you putting together a 2000s playlist, then you be like, all right, let me go to the T.I., let me get some T.I. because I remember this back in the 2000s when I was in high school. But I don't know if it's any T.I. song that you can play anytime. Because
you can play some 24s.
Yeah, but
24s is like one of his 3 good songs, I think.
You don't like Bring 'Em Out, ASAP?
I never liked Bring 'Em Out. I thought the beat was fucking corny, man.
Yeah.
ASAP is okay.
He's not a Swiss Beats type of guy.
You don't know me? You don't know me?
You Don't Know Me is okay.
I like that. I like ASAP.
Rubber Band Man.
I like Be Easy. I like
real nice.
Yeah,
real nice. Yeah, he's got some.
Yeah, I ain't slide around with my old lady listening to T.I.
Yeah, I think that's what I'm saying, man. You could go back to Jeezy and play that whole album front to back, and it still, for the most part, sounds pretty good.
Or even Gucci. I think you could.
Yes, Gucci Mane still sounds good to this day.
Yep.
But T.I., man, T.I. sounds very early 2000s.
Well, the thing about him is no one's ever really sounded like him. That's what's pretty.
With that exaggerated ass Southern accent he got. Yeah, I know, man.
Yeah, no one's ever really sounded like it, man.
Where he tries to mix in big words and sound smart.
Yeah, but Gucci, man, you could play his shit from 06.
Yeah,
and it still sound good today, man.
Yeah, you could play. You can go all the way through that. I mean, and I think he's had like 4 eras for me. Like that. That's he's had eras that people don't even appreciate. So he's next level for me. Like that's the guy for me, Gucci. But I don't know. We had a conversation about mumble rap on the air this week.
Yeah, I want to bring that. So this conversation started because I think Jalen Green was listening to YoungBoy, and I'm like, damn, like everybody always listening to YoungBoy in the car on Facebook or on Instagram Live for some reason. And I think Landry asked me why I don't care for YoungBoy, and I'm like, I can't fucking understand what he's saying. Like, he got a thick ass Louisiana accent. His voice is super squeaky, and he used heavy auto-tune. So it's very hard to understand what he's saying. And I think that's how the mumble rap conversation started.
Yeah, I don't look. There's people who I don't like, but I understand, like Lil Baby. I don't like Lil Baby, but I understand why people like him. I legitimately don't understand why people like NBA YoungBoy and why he's so popular. I just accept it as me being old because
Yeah.
I've given him a shot, several shots, and there's some songs I think are okay, maybe the older ones, but like Biggie said, I can't understand what he's saying. Even when he talks normally, I can't understand. He put out a video talking about how he regrets some of the music he's put out because of the people who listen and do bad things, and I couldn't even. I needed subtitles, man. I'm like, what are you talking about, dog? So, NBA YoungBoy is somebody I don't understand really, but that's just
Let me ask Rock. I want to ask you this, Rocket. Where do you think your opinion? Where do you think mumble rap started?
the Migos.
Migos. Okay.
I would say Migos era is around when I started hearing mumble rappers used to describe rap.
I think you can blame Gucci for it, man. And as much as that hurts me to say, like if you go back and listen to the Trap Back, like when he was like before he was going to jail the second time, that was when Migos, I think, was like living in his studio or something like that. Like and he had Young Thug there, and he had Rich Homie, and he had like Migos on all the Trap God and all that type of stuff. Gucci had like a kind of a mumble time where I think that kind of started a little bit.
It's funny. It's funny you said that because I ain't say this on the show because I ain't want to get into all of that, but I felt like mumble rap was kind of introduced. It wasn't called mumble rap during then, but I felt like it was kind of around the whole Chicago drill era too.
Oh yeah,
because they would be high on drugs, they'd be on lean or whatever, and they'd literally be mumbling in the studio, man. I think some of it started from there, but yeah, I think Gucci being on lean a lot was kind of the mumble, I guess the introduction to the mumble rap. And then of course I think Miguel said Lil Yachty. I think he was kind of the butt of all jokes. He was like the face of it.
But I don't think he took it serious. I think he was just kind of, I don't think Lil Yachty was ever like, I don't think he would get offended if you said that. Doesn't seem like.
Yeah, I mean, he's admitted like his old music was ass now. So yeah, I don't think he would care. But I would say Migos is when people started calling it mumble rap.
Which I don't know. Do you think it's fair? Like, who mumbles in their group?
At first, I thought they was mumble rappers, but when you go back to their music, they was very lyrical. Like I felt like they wasn't just saying a lot of bullshit. I felt like they was. I think they were a little more lyrical than I gave them credit for originally.
They were lyrical, but their delivery was very low key. And honestly, like, have you ever tried to rap along to a Migos song? It's even if you know the words, it's like impossible, man, because you really can't understand what they're saying sometimes, and the cadence is just it's hard to catch, and even their hooks are hard to memorize, man. So I would say Migos definitely, and I fuck with the Migos. I like the Migos. RIP Takeoff, man. But I feel like, and especially everybody started jacking that style after a while.
Oh yeah.
So like everybody did the triplet flow. Everybody was doing a like that kind of flow, and that's when mumble rap really took off to me. But everybody was inspired by Gucci in some form or fashion, so I wouldn't be surprised if it kind of came from him too.
Yeah.
So
and two, I think Migos were just mumblers anyway, because remember the interview with Joe Budden. We were on bad moves.
Yeah.
And the academics is like, huh?
Yeah.
Joe Budden. Joe Budden said when he's talking about them, he said, "Mumble, young man, mumble." I was laughing so hard when he said that shit, dog. Miguel asked, "Does 6ix9ine do anything for y'all?" Look, I don't care what nobody says. That first album he put out has some great workout music, man.
Workout
music, yeah. High intensity, get crunk music. I like Gummo still. I still bump Gummo, man. That beat is just too hard, dog.
What about Gooba?
What's that?
Goober, is that the song?
Gooba. His song titles are weird. He has a song called Chocolate that I like. His
song don't have anything to do with the song.
Yeah. He had one called Kuda that was hard too, but his first album has some bangers, man. Now he's like in some weird Latino
Oh, he's
reggaeton
gonna
type
dominate
shit.
it though, bro.
He might.
I guarantee you that he's gonna be a megastar in that Latino game.
I mean,
He's gonna dominate it.
I don't know about megastar, but he
Uh,
he could. If you look, I've
It's
said
better
before,
than
the
the
music
Space
is all that
Jam.
matters.
Yeah.
If
I-
he
not
can
for
make
him, though.
hits,
Not for him. He kind of seems like he's getting screwed. I don't know what the deal. Normally, when people start talking about getting kind of squeezed out, I kind of roll my eyes, but it does seem like he's getting kind of squeezed.
you mean like 6ix9ine?
Yeah,
I mean, the issue is nobody in rap can work with him.
yeah.
Same
he's
thing with
rich.
Gunna. Gunna's
Yeah.
career is over in rap, man. He's got to switch over to EDM because nobody, the producers, the rappers, are not going to work with somebody labeled a snitch. That's just how it is, man.
He said his motivation is DMX 6ix9ine.
I could kind of hear it.
I feel like the energy, like the initial like energy, but like as far he doesn't have that depth. Like
Well, of course not.
Yeah, and I mean, and very few people do, but I don't see him as like a. I mean, he's like,
He's like a DMX when DMX was just screaming a lot. But DMX was especially on his first album, he was very lyrical. He has some very lyrical songs where he's just not yelling in the song a lot. But I would say as far as screaming on the singles, like Party Up and shit, I could see some 6ix9ine in there. But and Robert says Don Toliver is good. Yeah, we like Don Toliver here, man. Don Toliver's dope.
I don't know anything about him.
From H-Town.
Yeah, H-Town rapper, singer, whatever you want to call him.
You probably ain't gonna. I don't think you gonna.
Nah, he won't like him.
No.
He won't like him.
What's that mean, man?
Look, I know your taste, man. You're not gonna like Don Toliver.
You kind of got an older taste too, man. Like, I'm glad I got you hip to Finesse 2 times.
Dude, I've been bumping that the whole time. That's
Andrea,
been my thing.
Finesse 2 times fan.
Because I was for like 3 years, it was Young Dolph, and now it's just kind of. I feel like Finesse is kind of Young Dolphian. Like it's kind of the same. It's the same ish. It's not like it's actually really really similar. Like if you actually just listen to it through and through, but it's kind of like the new dog. You talk about workout music. You ever work out to Finesse 2 times? Pretty legit, right?
I have some of his songs on. Yeah.
He's probably what I'm up on now. I can't get down with the Lil Baby and all that stuff. I'm just not. I can't.
I was fine with him early on, man, but I feel like after that first album, I forgot which one it was, but after that, man, I tried to throw him a life jacket, man, even during the pandemic when he made that one what's the one protest song or whatever.
Oh yeah, dude. I that song's fine, but dude, I watched the documentary and they were gonna boycott the Grammys because he didn't win a Grammy for it. I'm like, get over your damn self, man. Like, come on, man. You know how many rappers haven't won Grammys? You're not gonna go perform at the Grammy. He ended up doing it, but you're telling me your manager's telling you not to perform at the Grammys because you're not getting a Grammy for that? Come on, man. What are we doing here? That's crazy.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Real quick, speaking of Grammys, man, Landry, you got to defend your guy Lopez. We talked about it on the show before.
Oh no.
And how he felt like Taylor Swift is in the same breath, in the same sentence as our boy Michael Jackson, man. What's up with your boy?
Man, I don't know. Y'all had that argument. He's going strictly by numbers. Talking about the megastar, and people are throwing it out there. I just don't.
And see,
I don't even think it's fair to compare that because even if the numbers are like different, like it's just.
And see, that's where I lose interest when somebody bring up, oh, how many AMAs somebody got. And see, like I respect Lopez for doing this research and stuff like that, but when it comes to music, we don't give a damn about how many AMAs somebody got. It's all about the music. It's all about the energy, about the time when that music came out and the impact. And like whenever we talk about Michael Jackson, we never talk about how many AMAs he got. I don't even know how many AMAs or Grammys he got, but we know he's the greatest of all time. So I don't know. I just don't. I can't get with people that bring up the numbers and how many sales this person had compared to that person, especially since Michael Jackson was dominating like 30 or 40 years ago. compared to somebody who's in a very friendly era when it comes to sales.
Yeah. Crazy.
The cultural impact is something that just nobody is going to have like that again, man. But yeah, I agree. Miguel says she is today's megastar. I get what Lopez is saying. Yeah, today she's one of the biggest artists out, but she's not Michael Jackson.
He wasn't saying that.
Yeah,
he was saying she's in the same, I guess, category as a Michael Jackson.
That's ridiculous.
To be honest, man, like this ain't even shitting on Taylor. I think she could get there. I think she could eventually get in that conversation. I don't think she's gonna pass him, but I think she could eventually get in the conversation. But I just think right now, I just think it's a little too early. Like I know she's been around for a little bit, but I think it's way too early to put her up there with a Michael Jackson. But right now, I feel like she probably top dog. If we want to be honest,
the way that tour's going, good lord,
I would put her over Beyonce right now. It's top dog.
Yeah, I don't think anybody can get to Michael Jackson level just because of the way society is set up now. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Before we let you go, Landry, now that we're getting all the bone to pick topics out, I gotta hammer you on this, man, because it's something you've always brought up. And look, we all have issues. Miguel says, drops on my guitar. I don't even know what that song is, man. She got more songs than Michael. Okay, we got to mute Miguel again. We got to mute you again, man. You speaking blasphemy here, dog. And Robert asked, do you think UGK should have got that Grammy instead of Kanye and Common back in the day? Look, if UGK got a Grammy, it would feel weird. And I know it would, man. Like, and I feel like Pimp C would feel weird about it. He didn't even want to do a song with Jay-Z because he thought that would make them too popular. Look, do I think they deserved it more? Yeah, sure. But I feel like it's better for the underground kings to be somewhat underground. And I don't like the idea of them being mainstream. Like 3 6 Mafia got corny after they got that Grammy, man, or the Oscar.
For 3 6 Hustle and Flow.
Yeah, that shit made them kind of corny, man. Like their music started.
That reality show went hard though. Adventures of Hollywood on MTV. I think I'm making your point for you, but I enjoyed that reality show.
I'm talking about the music though, man.
No, but that was part of the corniness, probably.
I think Most Known Unknown came out after the Oscar, maybe, and I like that album. But then they got weird after that shit, man. They moved to Hollywood.
Weirder.
Juicy J started doing songs with Katy Perry and shit. It got weird, man. I like the underground 3 6 Mafia hard shit. And I like the underground kings being underground kings. I don't like them being the mainstream Grammy Woman kings, man. I don't like that shit.
Did you like Juicy's first solo album? The one from a few years ago?
I can't remember the one that's on it.
Stay Trippy. It was good, man.
I probably liked it.
It was badass. He actually did a good job.
He's
like a music genius. Wasn't he like basically the guy that did all the sound and everything like that?
It was him and I know DJ
Paul. Yeah.
DJ Paul had a lot to do with like some of the sampling and the scratching and all that stuff.
Because they're both music nerds, right?
Yeah.
For lack of no disrespect. I don't mean that in a bad way.
No, they weren't hood dudes, really. Like that was exposed a while back. They weren't really from the hood like that, man. But the music was still hard though.
They had to make it sound like it does today, except it wasn't as easy as it is today. Like they had to put in so much effort. Like you back and listen to like the late 90s, early 2000s 3 6 Mafia beats. Like I can't even imagine how much effort went into like slob on my knob, sipping on syrup, like all that stuff. Like those beats now, you can just have some jackass in his basement make that in like 10 minutes now. Those guys were having a problem. Who knows? That was probably nights, like just sitting there, not even sleeping.
Yeah. Robert says Players Anthem was played at wedding versus We Can't Remember That Song with Kanye and Common had. I can't remember that song.
I was talking about. Say, which one did they win? Like, was it Go?
You got her. What?
Was it Go? The Common and Kanye Go?
Well, that would be crazy.
I don't remember them winning over.
You got to remind us because I don't remember which song they did win it for. But yeah, I mean, Players Anthem should have won a Grammy. But look, the Grammys rarely gets it right when it comes to quality of music. So I'm not surprised. Anyway, back to my bone to pick, man.
Yeah, I want to hear
Look,
this.
because look, there are plenty of things to be upset with Deshaun Watson about. We all know what most of them are, the problematic things, the accusations, and whatnot. But there's one thing in particular that you kept bringing up that I just didn't understand why you took it so harshly. And that is the Instagram post about the 9 to 5 mentality thing. You still bring that up when you talk about them. And I'm wondering, like, did you take that the wrong way? Did you assume he was saying that 9 to 5 workers are trash? Because I just feel like there's a cultural difference in how we interpret a message like that. Because I will say, as Black people, we have kind of turned 9 to 5 into a slur. Okay. Nobody wants that 9 to 5 mentality in our culture. We shit on 9 to 5 like as a job. And we want to be entrepreneurs. We want to be leaders. We want to have our own business. And we want to have our own whatever. You know, there's an ownership mentality that Black people want to have now.
Okay.
Versus the 9 to 5 mentality that we think is some square shit. But you took that and I think you assumed that he was shitting on everybody who worked a 9 to 5. You got to explain like how you drew that conclusion, man, because I'm confused.
Well, yeah, and the post was there. It was if you're 20 or 30 and your main circle isn't discussing opening businesses, investing, escaping the 9 to 5, fitness, self-development, it's time to find a new circle. Your network is your net worth. And that was the thing. And let's be fair. I said this when he was still with the Texans, and there was this isn't like some revisionist, like petty ass that I think a lot of people do with Deshaun Watson. So I was talking about it before he got traded. I just think, first of all, I think it's weird from him, because I think the 9 to 5 thing, I think a lot of people kind of feel that way. I just think there's a lot of people that don't have the chance to get by in 9 to 5. And I don't think that's Deshaun Watson, the brand that he was selling me for a long time. I think it came out after he got his $200+ million, and all of a sudden he's following around and trying to portray that he's trying to do it. You didn't do a damn thing, Deshaun. Like you didn't invest. Like there's no investments that you made. Like you're not like buying squads like Patrick Mahomes.
Well, you're not in that sandwich spot that closed.
Yeah, and he didn't pay the bill. So like Patrick Mahomes is buying squads. Patrick Mahomes is, bringing Whataburger to Kansas City. Well, Patrick Mahomes is doing all this stuff, and Patrick Mahomes didn't, hey, camera lady, follow me here so that you can see me give my checks to these 2 9-to-5ers, these cafeteria workers, and see that I'm just like a man of the people. Patrick Mahomes didn't write some book saying I'm a servant leader and, all that. I just didn't think that was the Deshaun Watson brand. I don't have any issue with it, with people saying that. Like there's people who say it, but when you're going around promoting a book saying like you're some sort of servant leader and you're having the cameras follow you and give your damn game check to a couple cafeteria workers, and you really haven't done anything to show that you've escaped some sort of 9 to 5, like I'm not seeing anything there. It just bothered me. I felt like I just didn't feel like it was the brand that I was sold with Deshaun Watson. I thought it was just kind of weird that at the flip of a switch, you get, the big bag, and all of a sudden you're saying, let's escape the 9-to-5ers. I just didn't think that was the brand that I was sold.
He's not saying let's escape the not. See, I think you're just misinterpreting it. When I get your general argument, but I just don't see that. He's promoting the fact that your circle should be thinking of bigger things.
Well, that's fine, but my circle,
wrong with that?
I don't have a circle. I have a circle of people who clock in and work and all that. So I don't have the circle that Deshaun does, and I don't even think that he does. I just think he's just trying to sound like some sort of like savvy business guy.
And to be fair, he reposted this, right? He did not write it himself.
No, but his actions, like in some of the stuff that he was doing too, was kind of symbolizing that he was just becoming a little bit weird with
explain the actions, man.
And
buying a new car.
No, just all that type of stuff. Be
specific, man, because you throw this out here, but it feels like you're just an emotional feeling you have rather than anything proving he changed this way.
No, I mean there are a lot of people who said that he was changing. There were people like in the building that felt like he was kind of changing. So there and then he's saying stuff like that. Like it's just weird. Like the whole vibe of Deshaun was weird. Like it did not seem like it changed when she signed the contract. It was strange. And also, if you want to get technical, like and to be clear, I've been about as fair of Deshaun Watson as ever. I've never called him a sexual predator. I've never said what he did. I've said that I wish him the best. I get along with people close to Deshaun Watson. So I'm not one of these people that all of a sudden says Deshaun Watson sucked and Deshaun Watson did all this. But to be fair, like the whole stuff that happened, you can make a case that that's not really having like respect for 9-to-5ers too. If we're being serious, like even on the surface, like whatever did or didn't happen with like the accusations, you can make a case that is not respecting 9-to-5ers. It's just, hey, whatever did or didn't happen, like for whatever reason, they felt disrespected. And I don't even say the extreme. So I just think it's kind of like the whole body of work has been symbolic. And I don't think that what I was sold for 3 years was the same as it was after he got his bag.
I mean, if somebody gets life-changing money, you would assume they would change themselves to some extent, right?
Like, does that always happen?
Yeah, for the most part. If somebody gets life-changing money, if they get $100 million contract, like, do you expect them to be the same person they were when they were in college?
No,
not getting money.
I don't expect them to be the same. I just don't. I didn't expect that much of an extreme change. The dude went out of his way to write a damn self-servant book, Rocket. Like, I'm not saying
the book was corny. Okay, I will say the book was corny.
You're sitting here acting like I saw a guy like. I feel like you're trying to make this like into like some sort of like big Deshaun. Dude, the dude wrote an effing self-servant leader book and was trying to present a brand. It's not like the dude got a $200 million contract and all of a sudden I saw him driving in a Lamborghini with a nice watch on and said, this guy's changed. He sold me a book about servant leadership and all this type of stuff. It was a weird presentation. And all of a sudden just seemed like it kind of changed.
The thing, Go ahead, Figgy.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was going to say a lot of this is like the modern NFL player, man. Honestly, the modern sports athlete period. They put a premium on building a brand. They all write stupid ass books. Okay, they write books. They circulate these quotes and motivational quotes and whatnot. Like, look, I will admit, I thought J.J. Watt was extremely corny at first, man.
He agrees. He would admit that too.
Yeah, it was the stuff he was doing. It seemed like he was trying too hard to be the center of attention. He was trying too hard to build his brand, and it came across as corny to me. But later, I feel like this is just who he is, man. He's just kind of like a cheesy dude, but he's a good dude, I feel. Okay. I think look, Deshaun Watson, I can't speak to his character, especially with the accusations, man. I can't speak to his character. My only point is that I just don't feel because the post itself was indicative of what you were saying it was.
No, there was more to it. It wasn't just the post. I mean, it was just,
but you always bring up that post, and that's what kills me, man.
Well, because I
still bring it up, and it's like it was not that. It was not what you thought it was. I feel.
I thought it was. I mean, I thought it was like even like the way he's saying that. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing, dude? Bringing cheesesteaks to fucking Houston? Like, I mean, like seriously, because like, what are you doing? Like you're trying to escape the 9-to-5 based on what? You're doing the same shit you've always done, sir. Like that's the problem that I have. You weren't doing anything different.
Again, you're misinterpreting. He's not talking about him. He's saying his circle, and you should be. And again, he didn't write this post. Again, this is not his quote or anything. He just shared it. But the mentality was about surrounding yourself with people who are thinking big.
Okay.
Could he have admitted 9-to-5? And would you be okay? Here's the question: would you be okay with that post if if it didn't include the 9 to 5 part? Is
Yes.
that what really annoyed you?
Yes, for
Okay.
sure. Yeah, I don't see how that would not. Yeah, there's a lot of 9 to 5 people who spend their hard-earned money to go watch you play and stuff. So yeah, I know you'd like to escape it and stuff like that, but yeah, the 9 to 5 for sure. That's 100% there. Like talking about, net worth and all that type of stuff. I don't have a problem with that. It's just it was just weird to me. I don't know. But I like Deshaun. I didn't want Deshaun to go. I didn't blame Deshaun for asking to leave. So like I've always said that. So I'm not one of these weirdos who is all of a sudden like saying this after the fact. Like look, honestly, if I would have said that like after all the stuff and gone back in time and had some revisionist history like a lot of people are, then I would be you should look at me like I'm a fucking weirdo. But I said it at the time when he was on the team. I said it at the time when he was the most popular guy in town. I said it at the time when we thought Deshaun Watson was going to be our quarterback for 10, 15 years. So, yeah, it's not – I mean, there's a lot of people who are going back in time and, like, rewrite Deshaun wasn't that – remember this week we said it, Figgy, like people trying to say Deshaun wasn't good or like –
yeah.
Like, he wasn't really that good.
Yeah, he wasn't good or, he did this, that. Dude, you're never going to see me like with the journalism background I have and all that type of stuff. You're never going to see me like sit there and just assume that like the way that we covered that Deshaun like stuff, like you're not going to see me like, yeah, was it weird and stuff? Yeah. But did I make like blanket statements saying he did something? I did not. Like, that's why I can like keep my head up on like I can keep my head up high and say that stuff. But yeah, but I don't. Yeah, I just thought he changed, and it was just kind of a weird vibe because he went so hard to sell being like the common like servant leader. I thought that was weird. If CJ Stroud gets his contract and he's doing whatever, then yes. But CJ Stroud's probably not going to write a self-help book, 200 pages, telling me how I'm supposed to live my damn life and talking about how I'm just a man of the people. That book sucked, by the way.
I mean, Deshaun Watson making a book, period, is just funny. In that point in his career, that was like when Willie Beeman did a music video after like, 3 games?
Yeah. Was it year 2 or something like that?
Yeah, suddenly he was a rapper and singing and shit after like 2 games in the NFL where he won. And it's like that's how it felt with Deshaun. It was too early for that type of shit.
I feel for him though, man, because even like regardless of because I'm a man of God, so I'm not like I'm forgiving, but I got drug on Twitter for saying this after the Browns game. I wish the best for Deshaun Watson. I hope that he figures stuff out. Like regardless, he's 25 years old. Like so, I'm not sitting here saying he's not a finished product. Like I'm not judging someone at 25. So I wish the best for Deshaun Watson. I do kind of feel like for someone like that, just from like his mental state, that regardless of what he did or didn't do, we can throw that to the side. It's got to be weird as hell for him now to go from for 9 years, 8 years, 7, whatever, being like the praise of everything. Remember when he tore his ACL, you thought someone died. Like the way that social media was and all that type of stuff, like all you're doing. I mean, he probably could go on social media. Like if he's having a bad day, all Deshaun Watson had to do was go on social media and he probably felt like $1 million freaking bucks. Like he probably felt like a damn star with all the love he got. And now all of a sudden, I think he's on social media a lot because even like his attorney said he lives on social media. Man, that dude should not have a single app at this point. Like he just gets cooked now. And that's got to be like mentally kind of weird for him a little bit. I mean, I don't know how you function.
I would argue the opposite. I think he actually gets a lot of love in terms of his own personal circle and who he does business with. Yeah. On the internet, yes, he will get drugged to oblivion in the internet from now until whenever.
Yeah.
But in terms of like, look, no matter if you think he did or didn't do it, Deshaun got rewarded for what went down. Okay, let's be honest. He got out of the team he wanted to leave, and he got more money than he ever made, all guaranteed. Like, and he got the trust of the ownership in the Browns, and everybody on the team seems to be on board with him. The NFL players seem to love him. Okay, nobody out there calling him a rapist or whatever. At least NFL player wise. So, like, look, ultimately, he was rewarded for what happened. So I think mentally he's probably fine. Yeah,
Man,
if you
his
go on
mentions
the
and all
internet,
that.
if you go on, look, he won't be in any
The
commercials.
stories that get talked about. And here's the other thing about it is that the more success he has, the more it goes. Like usually, like if someone like gets in trouble and then they ball out, like that can be kind of an escape. But I mean, if Deshaun Watson gets to the Super Bowl, like you're telling me that there's going to be even more smoke. So he's kind of in a weird spot there too, to where like just like the mentions and all that type of stuff. But he did get his bread for sure. He got the.
And look, one thing I've realized about the so-called cancel culture is the memory is short. Okay, people will forget.
Yeah,
People will move to a new thing. Same thing happened with Ben Roethlisberger on the Steelers. Yeah, it was brought up a lot at first, but people eventually moved on, man. People, it's not going to last forever. Yes, there will be people who will always drag him for that, but it won't be this loud. People will move on.
I was even saying that after Deshaun came back to Houston for that first game, and the crowd booed and all that stuff. It kind of got a little dead towards the end, but after that game, I'm like, man, that's probably the worst he gonna get, because like say what you want, I feel like these other cities don't really give a damn. Yeah, it'd be some people that's heckling and all that stuff, but at the end of the day, they don't care, man. They don't it's not that deep for them, especially if the Browns are playing like Denver or something. Like, ain't nobody about to go hard in the paint because of what he did off the field.
Man.
So, and as the season went by, the crowd was like normal, man. It was super normal. They played, I want to say they played Cincinnati, and that's a rival. And the crowd was kind of normal, man. So even last season, I felt like NFL crowds kind of forgot about it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I just couldn't imagine like the different. I'm assuming that his mentions are pretty crazy. I mean, Micah Parsons the other day asked for a massage therapist, and Deshaun Watson was the #1 trending topic in town. I mean, he said he needed a professional massage therapist. I saw Deshaun was trending, and I have that PTSD where it's like, oh crap, he's trending. Let's see, because when we were covering it, and then there were like all these jokes, and I was like, man, what'd he do? And all that happened was Micah Parsons asked for a professional massage therapist in Dallas, and my man was trending.
Yeah, like I said, the jokes are gonna cook for a while. I know Steve Harvey was on the Shannon Sharp podcast, and he made a joke about it too. So yeah, the jokes are gonna cook for a minute, man. People will eventually move on. So,
do y'all feel like it's a statute of limitation of Texans fans to root against the Browns after this season
because they have a draft pick?
Yeah, because this season, I understand because they got the draft pick, but this is the last year they have their draft pick. Do you feel like Texans fans going to still try to keep up with the Browns and keep up with Deshaun? Do you feel like it's a statute of limitation with that? Because after this year, I feel like we all should be done. Because they play them every year.
I feel like a Texans fan should root against, the franchise quarterback that got away, like for whatever reason. I mean, he wanted out. I always supported him originally wanting out because as long as you have the POS person of service, lurking around, I would want out too. But I don't know if it's like it matters as much.
But see, the past couple years, it was understandable because it's like we got to see what the Browns doing because we got the draft pick. All the Browns lost. So that's a win for us.
I mean, how would you feel, though, if he goes out there and starts winning Super Bowls with the Browns? Like, that would probably piss you off a little bit, right?
No, you will love it. Figgy will love it.
All right, well, let's pretend you're not from Cleveland.
As a Texans fan, I would be pissed. But in the same breath, I'm not checking him every single week and saying, oh, Deshaun threw an interception. Whoop, we got over. And the next week, oh, Deshaun got sacked. Look at this, y'all. I'm not about to put no low light tape out of Deshaun Watson after this year. Like, I'm just over it, man. I just want to move on. It's not like he's in a division where you
also had to live that with us, though, bro. Like, that's the other thing.
That's what I'm saying. Like, that's part of moving past it too.
But fans didn't have to live it like you and me. Like you and me were in those sticks, bro. Like we were getting like you and I were having to move so damn fast for 2 years. Like we didn't sign up to freaking get a dude. I had to sit here and like literally like on the go. Like we're just trying to sit here and talk about third down offense, and then all of a sudden, oh, did you see that story that dropped? And all of a sudden, we're reading about wieners and all this type of stuff on air and having to tiptoe around it. And so you and I lived it a little bit different than the Texans fan did.
And I guess that's the one reason why I just want to move past it at this point, man. Like will we be keeping the same energy if he was with the Seahawks or something? Like we wouldn't be keeping up with the Seahawks like that.
Might.
I don't know, man.
You watch James Harden and the Sixers? I'll watch it with a little different energy.
I don't know, man. I don't know. I mean, I'm not watching James Harden say, "Oh, he only scored 9 points, y'all." Yep, we got over on them. Like I just hope this year's the last year so we can move on, man.
Well, does it depend on how CJ plays? Like, does that matter?
I think if CJ play bad, I don't think we're gonna be sitting here like, man, we had Deshaun Watson. I think we kind of got over it a little bit. I think people kind of realize that. You feel like, I mean, unless
if CJ Stroud ends up being a bust, I don't know, man.
If CJ struggle and Deshaun looking like the old Deshaun, top 5 quarterback in the league, I think it will hit some people a little rough because honestly, it hit me last year. Last year when Davis Mills was looking so bad, I'm thinking like, damn, man, I don't even think I told Landry this. I'm like, man, I probably would have just kept Deshaun, man. I probably would have gave him a raise if he's take that trade. For real, man, because it was looking that bad. Like, damn, like I understand he wanted to leave and we all knew why, but I'm like, man, I would have gave Deshaun probably I would have tore that new contract, that old contract up and gave him. I wouldn't have gave him 230 mil, but I would have been like 190 or something, 200. Like, dog, just stick around, man. We can't lose our franchise quarterback at this point. We'll hold it down, but I would have had him stick around. That's how bad the quarterback was last year.
I don't think he would have been down for that though.
Yeah, no, he wasn't going to play here again, man. I think his mind was set. But look, if CJ ends up being good or at least decent, I think the fan base will move on. If he ends up not being good and we have to be in a quarterback sweepstakes again, then I think the hatred of Deshaun Watson will last even longer with the fan base, man. Because they will be very upset at the fact that we finally had the franchise quarterback and he quit on the team.
But see, will it or will people still kind of be stuck, lack of better word, stuck in their ways because of what he did off the field? Because you still have a lot of people saying, "Oh, I don't care. Like he did all this bad stuff. I don't care. I don't want him on my team." You had those people too.
Here's the ugly truth about football fan bases, man. I feel like most football fans don't give a shit about that stuff. Like, let's be real, okay? If all the people talking shit about Deshaun, if he was on their team, they'd be making excuses too, okay? As much shit as the Browns talked about people not supporting the team anymore when he was on, I didn't see a huge drop off when he started playing games for them, man. So honestly, the uncomfortable truth is what's good for me is good for me, man. And if he was on anybody else's team, they make excuses. But if he's not, they're going to talk shit and bring up all the allegations. So that's just how it is with the fan base, man. But look, thank you for the extended stay, Landry. I know you got things to do, man. We kept you here for a long time. We had to make up for all the times you weren't on the podcast. Okay?
No, I ain't doing a damn thing, man. This was all I was doing tonight.
We appreciate it, man. We done held you for a long time. Now we got to end with this, man. What is your prediction? I'm sure you talked about this plenty of times, but we want the Gems and Juice take. Okay, what is your prediction for the Texans win total for the next season?
See, after D'Amico's press conference, I said 9-8 the other day, but I was high on that D'Amico draw. So I was kind of thinking I could see him going 8-9. 7-10, something like that. It's going to be a better squad. The over under is 6.5 right now. It went up to 6.5. So I'll say 8-9, but as the season goes, maybe there's some injuries and I get a little bit more optimistic, but I'm pretty excited to see. And the good thing about it is I'm really, really down to ride and die with D'Amico. Like I know this sounds bad. I'm looking forward to his first F up. I'm looking forward to his first clock management struggle. I'm looking forward to, him having to bounce back for the first time because I'm committed to it. It feels right. You got a guy that everyone wants. So I'm committed to this process with D'Amico, but I'll say 8-9, 7-10, the over on the 6.5.
Okay. Yeah. I'm there too. I'm like between 6 and 8, honestly. It's realistic to me. This division needs to prove to me that they're actually a threat to anybody. So until then, I'm sticking with 6 to 8, man.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be a competitive 6, man. Like I know a lot of people like 6. They ain't really, that good, but I think they're gonna be in a lot of games, and I don't think the division gonna be that good this year, man. I think the division winner probably gonna win 9 games. So I think they're gonna be right in it. But I think they, like Landry said, D'Amico probably gonna mess up a little bit where they could have won a game, or CJ might be in a situation where he could have won a game, but rookie mistake. So I think it's going to be a competitive, good 6 and 11. Yeah, 6 and 11.
Yeah, man, I still on that 16 from all those years.
Yeah, me too, man. Me too.
Yeah. And I don't like how it's not no team. I don't like the 17 games. That's just whack, man. No team can finish 500. I know they're going to get to 18 eventually. They should have went to 18 automatically because I don't like 17. That's a weird number. I don't fuck with it. But anyway, appreciate having you here, Landry. Thank you for your time.
Appreciate y'all.
We learned a whole lot. We learned you think the New White Men Can't Jump is a classic. Better than Godfather, even.
Now that's true. That's true. Now we can be serious. Now that is true for sure. Definitely rather watch that.
Jack Harlow is a better actor than Al Pacino. Yep, you heard it here first, man. And Marlon Brando. So now we appreciate your time, man. Of course, y'all can hear Landry every 10 to 2 Monday through Friday in the Loop alongside Figgy Fig and John Lopez, as well as on the Locker Room, Houston's #1 sports podcast. With as well. When do you do the Locker Room? Is that just whenever, or do you have to schedule for
every day? Usually a 9 o'clock night stream, and then drop a video in the morning. Okay. It's been doing it since the start of the season in September, and then gonna get like a different schedule going once the season starts. Just been doing it in kind of phases, but every day for sure.
Okay, so you got one in 30 minutes maybe then, huh?
No, I did it before today. I did a little Nuke Hopkins Q&A, and then I dropped a Nuke Hopkins video today, and then I think there was a Baltimore Ravens Texans, got them at the right time. So I did 3 videos today.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Content king over here, man. Pumping it out.
Gucci pre-second jail stint. Living in the studio.
Yeah, with the 6-pack, man, and the fake teeth.
Yes, sir.
Clone.
Yeah, the clone Gucci with the messed up ice cream tattoo. So, yes, appreciate you joining us, man. Appreciate everybody who joined on the stream. Listen, none of y'all on stream ask us anything else about Landry, okay? Because y'all had y'all chance to talk shit. I don't want y'all coming to this podcast no more telling us some shit Landry said, okay? Y'all had y'all chance to get back at him for whatever he did. You see, y'all took my opportunity.
Yep.
So, and y'all was extra nice, Miguel. So don't come in this podcast talking about some shit Landry said no more, because y'all had y'all chance to air your grievances. Okay. So appreciate everybody who came through to stop by for the podcast and the live stream, man. And yeah, we gonna see you around again soon, Landry. I know Figgy gonna see you again on Monday. So take care, man. Glad to hear you're doing well personally, and shit. Peace out, man.
Appreciate you, man. Appreciate you, fellas.